Hello, hello. Please type in the chat that you can hear and that you can see me. That you can hear and see me, because I got this open right here, but I can't hear and see myself. So I'm relying on you guys to let me know when we are alive. Love the replay. Did the meditation twice already. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love it. Okay. Yes. Yes, that you can see and hear me. Is that what? Yes. Okay. Yay. Hi. Oh, hi, Amanda. Hello, guys. Oh my gosh. Love it. Love it. Love it. Who's twinning? Am I twinning with you? Who's twinning? Oh my gosh. Okay. Love that you guys are here. Okay. So how many of you guys, can you type one in the chat? This iPad is extremely heavy because it's a little old, but so I'm trying to hold this up here to look. Okay. Can you type one in the chat if you were here yesterday? 2, if this is your first day. 1 in the chat if you were here yesterday. 2, if this is your first day. Okay. Went back to work and made 7K yesterday. Let's freaking go. I already got a client. Oh my God. I'm so fucking excited for you guys. I'm so excited. I want you guys all to make so much money, so much abundance in your life. 1. Okay. You were here yesterday. 2, it's your first day. Amazing. Okay. First day. No, because here's the thing. We are still going to be going on this energy train. So I actually want to know though. Hello, Harenia. Nice to see you. Okay. I made a sale last night. Let's fucking go, guys. Let's celebrate those who are making sales, who are doing the thing, who are putting themselves out there, who are just deciding that they're ready to welcome in that new timeline of abundance. Okay. Because it really does start with a decision. Okay. I know that I talk about signs from the universe and everything like that, but here's the thing that we were talking about. Okay. That signs from the universe, they're signs. They're saying, hey, look, these opportunities are open for you. They are open. They are opening in your field. Okay. But you still have to do the work because we live in this 3-dimensional reality, right? Unfortunately, sometimes we live in this 3-dimensional reality with density that we have to confirm it in the physical. Okay. Yes. Even I have to confirm it in the physical, even though I am so all about the quantum. I want to live 99% of my life in the quantum. I'm a little bit spacey. I was almost late to this call because I'm a little bit spacey like that. But I also know that I have to have the discipline to be able to ground all of that quantum amazing energy, right, into this physical reality. Now, there are a couple of different kinds of people. Some of you guys, okay, you are a little bit too much in the 3D. You're buying a little bit too much into the 3D. Okay. So you're putting your head down and you're trying to do all the things and figure out all the things just from your mind. And there's no quantum energy flowing through, right? The alignment's not quite flowing through your system, through your body. All right. Because that is what generates all of it, by the way. Okay. That is literally what generates all of it. That's literally what creates all of it. Your 3D, the doing the things, the tactical things. Okay. That is what translates it into the 3D. So you can actually welcome in the money. You can actually welcome in the visibility, welcome in all of the good things that you want to experience as a human being here. How many of you guys are understanding that? Okay. Now there's the other group of you guys, kind of like me. All right. Kind of like me. Okay. You love to live in the quantum. You always love to be in the quantum. You're a little spacey. Okay. We get lost in fantasy land and we love that. We love it. That is our power. That is part of our superpower. Okay. But we have some issues grounding it into the 3D and thinking about things in the 3D matrix, in the way that, let's say, other people think about them in this 3-dimensional matrix, because we love just living purely in the quantum. Okay. And then we need to be able to ground those things, yes, with some tactical things, with being able to show up, with being able to post content even when we really don't want to and we're not feeling it, all of that stuff. Okay, that is the discipline of the 3D, because ideally we want a balance of both. We need a balance of both. Okay, we need a balance of both. Even business coaches, okay, business mentors who I have paid a lot of money to learn from, not the energetics, but just the business part of it. Okay. They tell you in their courses, they're like, guys, just FYI, I'm just letting you guys know that all this stuff is amazing. But if your energy isn't aligned, if the energy is not there, it is not going to work, because this is 90% your energy and your mindset and all those things. Even the business coaches who pay, who let's say charge tens of thousands of dollars to be coached on the strategy part, okay? They say that 90% of it is your energy. I want you to think of it like a dam. Okay, I want you to think of it like dam. You have this beautiful dam that is able to, what do dams do? I think they are able to funnel water and stop water from funnel and flowing through. Okay, that flowing through, right? They allow the water to flow through, or they cut it off. Okay, I want you to think of it like that you can have the most beautiful dam, the most beautiful funnel, the most beautiful business structure, all of the things. Okay, but if there is no water, if there is not that quantum energy behind it, allowing things to flow through, guess what? Guess what's going to happen? Okay. Not a whole lot. You are going to have a beautiful dam that someone's going to look at and go, damn, that's nice. That's funny. I didn't even plan for that. Damn, that's nice. Right. But there's going to be no water flowing through it. Okay. How many of you guys understand that you actually need both? That is the sweet spot. Okay. That is the sweet spot. Whether you even see people talking about business coaching, they need the energetics, and they know that they need the energetics. Whether you see people just talking about the energy and the quantum manifestation, they still needed the tangible, tactical things in order to actually be able to create a business. Okay. And that's why I wanted to bring both of these things together, because both are so extremely important. And sometimes I see with us who love to be in the quantum and the manifestation and all of the beautiful things, trust me guys, I want to live there forever and ever. Okay. And maybe we're going to get to a point, in consciousness in 30 years time or so where we can. Okay. But right now, that's not exactly how reality works. And I see this a lot for people who love living in the manifestation and the quantum. When it comes to then translating it into the 3D, they have a lot of resistance. They're like, I don't know what to post. I don't know what my expertise is. I don't have confidence that what I know can translate into a business. I don't feel confident selling. I don't know how to do these things. I don't know how to message. Okay. I don't know how to create a program. I don't know how to structure a program. I don't know how to sell. I don't know how to get it into the hands of people to be able to help them. How many of you guys can recognize yourself in that? Because again, a huge part of this process, and also what we did yesterday, was bringing awareness to the things that we're not wanting to look at, right? But usually it's the very things that we don't want to look at that are literally exactly where the gifts are. It's literally where the breakthroughs live. Okay. I want you to remember that forever and ever and ever and ever. The things that you are avoiding, the very things that you are avoiding looking at, are exactly where the gifts live. Okay. So for those of you who were here with me yesterday, how many of you guys feel like something shifted, or maybe you even woke up today and you felt a little bit angry. You felt a little bit angry that you have been settling for something so much lower. You have been settling for a reality that is so much lower than your potential. You're like, WTF. Now, I don't want you to go into blame at yourself. Okay. But I do want you to take accountability and go, okay, why have I been allowing myself to create at this level, which is so much less than what my potential is? Because like we talked about yesterday, we want to be able to transmute anger, because anger is something that a lot of us try to avoid. The anger at the fact that this is so much lower than what I deserve. This is so much lesser than who I am and lesser than what I deserve. We actually need to transmute that anger, not bypass it, not go, oh, but pretty flowers, or whatever. But we can't bypass it. We want to use that anger to propel us to make decisions differently, to show up differently. Right? So maybe it's you showing up in your content and you have a little bit more edge. You say the thing that's a little bit saucy that you've been really wanting to say, but you have not given yourself permission to say yet. Okay? That's how you use anger to propel you to the next level. You go, fuck this. Fuck what I have been settling for. Yes, guys, I do cuss and I do swear. Apologies if this is your first time listening to me, but that is just who I am. I am saucy. Okay? And so how many of you guys have had a little bit of that realization even, right? Oh, I'm kind of pissed off that I've been settling for less. Ooh, this doesn't really feel good. You know, someone who signed up for Quantum Entrepreneur yesterday, she messaged me and she was like, I feel kind of nauseous after the first day. And I'm like, that's great. Okay. Because that means your old self is having to see the truth. Like that's true awakening. For those of you who understand the process of awakening, how many guys have had those ego deaths where you're like, oh my God, like who I've been is going to have to die now. Okay. That is actually part of the process. I've actually listened to a lot of people who are super successful, not necessarily spiritual. And like, before they did something really scary that was going to completely change their life, they like threw up. Okay. They had to purge out their old version of self and take that leap, that energetic leap of faith in themselves to go, okay, I don't need to take my old garbage with me. Okay. So yesterday you started to feel the shifts. We are going to continue today. Okay. So yesterday was why maybe you have been stuck. Okay. Today is where the shift leads into specific numbers, specific moments that actually become part of your life, right? Today is the actual mechanism. We're going to go over like what the mechanism, all the things that you actually need on a tangible level in order for you to actually make this happen, make this a reality. Okay. So if you were here yesterday, again, I want to know like what kind of shifted overnight. What kind of shifted? I threw up just before this live. Oh my God, that's so funny. I mean, not funny. I'm not laughing. I'm laughing with you. Okay, girl, I'm laughing with you. I'm not laughing at you. I have been there many a time. Okay. If today is your first day, right? This is the power of frequency when we all move together as a mastermind, by the way. We all are moving together as a mastermind. So if I'm going through some massive shifts, which I am currently in my reality right now, like a lot of things are just like coming into my reality like hot potatoes, okay? That means you're also gonna have to go along that ride on an energetic level with me, okay? So if today is your first day, what is the number on your ceiling right now? Okay, what is that number that you just keep hitting up against? I want to know in the chat if you feel comfortable sharing. Okay, this is a safe space. I don't think anyone's out to get you or, use anything against you. What is the number, okay, that you keep on hitting up against? What is that ceiling? I want you to actually define it. I want you to look at the number, not like what you think, what you want the number to be, but what is the actual number that you keep on hitting up against? And you're like, WTF, why do I keep hitting up against this number? I want to see in the chat. Okay, $10,000, $10, $1,000, $50K a month. Good. Okay, $250,000, $1,000, $2,000. Okay. But do you see how it's like at all of these different ranges? Yes, it is possible for you to be stuck at $250,000 or $100,000 a month. It is possible for you to be stuck at $1 million a month. I know that seems kind of crazy, guys. Okay. But I was stuck at $2,000 a month for 10 plus years, which I guess seems obviously less crazy. I mean, it's still kind of crazy that I was stuck at that for 10 plus years, and doing a lot of different things. But anyway, so then when I finally actually broke out of that, I'm just going to talk about this for a second. We talked about this yesterday. When I broke out of that, again, I didn't get my income grew by 40 times, right? I went from $2,000 a month to $1 million in 18 months since that last $2,000 a month. 18 months later, I went to $1 million. Okay, I 40 times basically my income. Now, here's the question that I want to go over again. Did I 40 times my skill set? Did I 40 times my work ethic? Did I 40 times my talent overnight? Did I 40 times did I 40 times anything on the physical level? Did I 40 times it? Okay, I want to see. The answer is no. That would be fucking impossible. Okay, so I want you to start to enter into a different paradigm of looking at money. Okay, that a lot of you guys hold this linear concept in your heads and you don't even realize that you're holding this linear conditioning in your heads, where in order for you to make 10 times more money, oh shit, I'm going to have to work 10 times harder. Okay, I'm gonna have to be burdened 10 times more. It's going to be 10 times more overwhelming, 10 times heavier. I'm gonna have to be 10 times more talented and gifted. I'm gonna have to be 10 times everything more. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, fuck, that seems impossible. How many of you guys can even start to be aware of how you kind of hold that in your system? It's like, oh my God, 10 times more everything. 10 times more everything. How can I hold that? How am I going to be able to hold 10 times more everything? Isn't that going to feel kind of heavy? And on some level, wouldn't that mean that on some level you didn't actually want it? Okay. All right. Because one thing that we did go over yesterday, and I know I'm getting a little off script here, but I think this is important. One thing that we did go over yesterday was that if you believe that it is going to require but let's just cut to the chase. Okay. Oh my God, I keep on losing the thought. Okay. No, it's, okay. You have to understand. And I know that a lot of you guys don't understand this on a mental level, and that is okay. Or maybe you do understand it on a mental level, but what you have to really, really accept, okay, and have the awareness of is that you are creating all of this. You're creating all of it. You're creating the obstacles, you're creating the resistance, you're creating the ceiling, you're creating the lack of abundance, you're creating the abundance of abundance. You have the power to create it all, correct? Just say yes and agree with me because it's just the way the universe works, okay? So then if your mind is going, I want $1 million a month. I want $1 million a month. And you can even feel that in your body to some degree. You can go, wait, okay. I want $1 million a month. I want $1 million a month. But you keep on doing all the things and you're not getting to $1 million a month. We have to actually take a step back and actually go, why don't I actually want $1 million a month? And it's not just something from your head. Okay. It's something in your field, right? We have, again, really quickly, and I don't know if I'm getting like way off track. I probably am, but, we have your thoughts. Okay. There's one layer of energy in your field, your thoughts. And then we have your emotions, which is a little more powerful, right? Emotional, trauma therapy, all that stuff. And then you have your subconscious thoughts, a little bit more powerful. Okay, cool, right? Hypnotherapy, all that stuff. Great, amazing things. By the way, I love all these tools. Please continue to use them if you're still using them. Okay. But then beyond that, we have what I call just the quantum field. And yes, there are different layers of frequency, okay, within the quantum field. Now, if you are blocked somewhere up here, completely goes beyond your mind because your mind's over here. Okay, if you're blocked somewhere up here, your mind's not necessarily going to know that. Not necessarily going to know that. Not going to have a conscious awareness of that. But you can still be running the block up here. And that block can still be running your reality down here. Does that make sense? Right? We know that your subconscious can affect your emotions, can then affect your thoughts, can then affect what you do in your physical reality. So the quantum is kind of like whatever you're representing in the quantum field up here, that is what I call your dominant frequency. Okay, is it a frequency that is dominant that then runs through every single layer? Does that make sense? Okay, so I just want you guys have to fundamentally understand that in order for us to continue. And for those of you who were not here for day one, and for those of you who were here for day one, I just wanted to remind you of that. Okay, so okay, we already talked about this, okay? They reflect your frequency. Everything in your reality right now, it reflects what your dominant frequency is actually saying. Is it saying like, oh, I actually don't really want $1 million a month because that would feel really fucking heavy. Oh, I don't actually really want $1 million a month because there's still something in me that feels like there has to be some level of pain associated with abundance. So then if I have $1 million a month, guess how much pain I'm going to have to suffer in order for me to deserve abundance? How many guys are tracking that? Okay. Right. So there is a method. Okay. It's what I call the inevitability mechanics. And there's 3 steps to that method in order to change this, which then trickles down to here. Okay. This is the quantum field. This is the water, which then the dam can actually filter. Okay. The business model can actually filter. You need this part. Like you need access, you need ability to actually shift this part, unlock this part even, okay? Because by the way, the clearer that you are in the quantum field, what happens? Well, the higher your frequency, the higher your dominant frequency actually is, you can look at it a lot of different ways, but anyway, we'll talk about it in terms of that. The higher your dominant frequency actually is, and then actually the more kinds of possibilities you can now access in the quantum field. That is the importance of clearing the quantum part of you, okay? Clearing the energetic part of you that goes beyond the subconscious, because it actually opens up more possibilities in the field that are available to you that were not available to you before. Now, we live in this three-dimensional reality, correct? So then we need to still, with our free will, because we have free will as human beings, it's like part of the game that we signed up for, with our free will, okay, we then confirm in the three-dimensional reality, yes, I do want to experience that in the 3D. Okay, is that making sense? So the inevitability mechanics, okay, number one, you identify clearly. You have to do this, guys. You have to do this. Okay, a lot of people skip different steps, and I'm like, no, don't want you to skip steps, okay? Number one, you have to identify clearly where you actually are right now. Think about it, because you can't navigate out of a location you can't see for yourself. So this is where I get a little bit frustrated, a little bit, with some of the manifestation stuff and the positive thinking stuff out there and stuff. And look, I love listening to those things too, because they're addictive. And I'm like, fuck, I need to listen to something positive right now. How many guys just want to listen to something positive and you're like, I don't really want to go into it right now. Okay. And that's fine. There is a place for that. 100% there's a place for that. I don't even like denigrate that, because sometimes I need that message. We all need that message. However, if we're talking about transformation, okay, you actually have to have the courage, right? And the ability to identify where you are in your current reality. Okay? Where you are in your current reality. What are the energies in your quantum field that are kind of messing you up a little bit, kind of blocking you a little bit, right? Where are you with your relationship with money? Where are you with your relationship with life? Where are you with your energetic relationship with business? Because we have an energetic relationship with every single thing in our lives. Once you get it in one area of your life, by the way, if you use your analytical thinking, and well, you're just going to understand this, because again, I'm not actually telling you guys anything that you don't already know. Not telling you guys anything you don't already know. I am just representing it to you in a way that your physical mind can understand, so that you can accept what you already know. Okay? So when you identify where you are, you can identify all the awareness of like, oh, wait, that's actually not working. Oh, wait, there's that. Oh, wait, okay, yeah, maybe I don't actually want the thing, right? It's not anything negative. It's you just seeing yourself clearly. It's kind of like if I was walking around and I had duct tape on my forehead and I didn't have a mirror, so I had no idea I had duct tape on my forehead. It doesn't change the fact that reality and people are going to react to me funny, like, Paget, you have duct tape on your forehead, Maybe they won't tell me because I'm just like, like, and I don't notice it, right? But they're going to be like looking at me weird and be like, whoa, that's kind of weird that people are looking at me weird. But I guess that's just normal that people look at me weird, right? Because that's all I've ever known. And then one day someone comes over and they put a mirror in front of you and you're like, oh shit, I have duct tape on my forehead. Where'd that come from? Right? And you're like, oh my God, I've been walking around with this duct tape or like, that food in my teeth this entire time and no one told me and everyone was just looking at me weird. WTF? Like, how has this been impacting my life all along? Right? And so it doesn't feel good. So when you go through this process, yeah, it don't always feel good, because you're going to actually have to face and see and experience for temporarily the things that have held you back. Okay? But again, if no one held that mirror in front of me, would I have been able to see the duct tape and taken it off? Probably not. So I want that mirror in front of me like ASAP. I want that mirror in front of me right now. Okay. I don't want to be walking around, trying to go on dates or whatever. Okay. I mean, I'm married, but like trying to go on dates or whatever with duct tape on my forehead. Like who wants to do that? Do you see what I'm saying? I don't want to go around trying to create success with the duct tape on my forehead and I don't even realize I have it on my forehead, or I have like that piece of, romaine lettuce stuck between my two front teeth. Like I don't want that. I've been through that actually in like my 3D reality and doesn't feel good. Okay. So then it gives us a chance to basically release those things. Okay. Release those things in the body and in the field, not just in your mind. Okay. And then the 3 is you got to then move the identity as the person who already has what you want. This is basically you confirming your identity, you confirming the timeline in your 3-dimensional reality. Okay. So today we are entering your quantum CEO era. Okay. And why I'm so excited about this is because look, yes, you can learn like business and stuff and all that stuff. And that's all grand and great. But how do you guys have signed up for a business program or whatever? And you're like, this is kind of like dry. Like this is sort of like, I don't feel this like motivating energy moving through me to like want to do these things. Because I don't really feel the pay. Like, okay, sure, money is 100% payoff. But if you really search deep down inside of yourselves, guys, you want the money, but do you want the money to reflect something about you? Correct? Really, you want the money to reflect your brilliance. You want the money to reflect your self-actualization. You want the money to reflect who you are becoming. Okay. And this pride and this fulfillment in life of who you are becoming and how you are even changing the world in your becoming while then being able to generate money from that. That is what a quantum CEO is. Okay. They build from the identity out, from the frequency out, where things actually feel in alignment. Yes, you are going to have to do tangible things. You're going to have to do tangible things. But I'm telling you, people, sometimes they like repost my stuff or like under, I don't know, like a random account or something like that, right? And they'll repost my stuff and sorry, my eyes are really dry. They'll repost like the exact same reel that obviously I posted because I posted it. Okay. So it has my face, it has my voice, it has everything that I'm saying. It's exactly the same piece of content. But then, and I'll sometimes like look at it. I'm like, oh, I wonder if that's going to do well. Right. And it gets like 10 views. And I'm like, wait a second, but it's me. It's my voice. It's my words. It's my content, but it's the frequency behind it all. It's the frequency behind it all. It is the consciousness behind it all. You know how you can actually scroll on social media and there's certain pieces of content. Okay. And there is a tangible aspect to this. Okay. So we're going to get into that, but there's certain pieces of content where you're like, oh, for some reason, I don't know why, but I feel drawn to that. There's a frequency behind it. There's a consciousness behind it that you're actually tapping into. The consciousness of maybe that creator, the consciousness of that creator in that moment, whatever it may be, you're tapping into something. You're voting yes for something that is not just the content itself. Now, when you marry the frequency, okay, and the identity and the consciousness with the tangible and the physical and like, the tactics and stuff like that, then it's like, oh, boom. Right? That is actually the real magic recipe, because then there are a lot of people who are kind of like on social media, kind of just like, doom scrolling or whatever. And they're not really paying attention and all those things. Okay. So you want to marry both of them together. When you marry both of them together, this is what I call you become inevitable. Okay. So one more thing before we go in. Today is the last day of early, like pre-early sales. What do we call it? Early bird sales enrollment conditions. Okay. So I just want you to know that up front, because it's the reason that we are going to go through every single thing today so that you can actually just make an educated decision whether this is something that you're like, yes, I'm ready to jump in. And by the way, if you do jump in the early bird, we are actually going to be having a bonus live welcome call and a bonus live Q&A with me with just the people in the early bird. Okay. So, I'm going to give you the real news today about what's actually creating your ceiling around money and clients. And then we're going to start to move through it. Okay. So let's talk about money. right? The strategy version of money, the version that explains why someone with less experience, again, fewer contacts, half the strategy, has more money flowing into them right now than maybe you do. And you have all the experience and you have the best intentions and you're always sending out positive intentions for the world and everything that you do, and you're magical and you're sparkly and you fucking know that. And you know that you're really good at what you do. You're probably, let's be honest, I know that there's a lot of you guys in here. You're probably better than a lot of the people who are doing better than you. Like, right? How many of you guys are in the chat where you like actually know that, wait a second, because I know that there's like different levels of people in the chat in terms of like where you are in your business career. Some of you guys are like, I already know that I'm like secretly kind of better than some of these people, right? I know that like I could deliver it better. I know that like I really care. I have the heart. And for some reason, I see these other people doing better than me. And I'm like, WTF. Okay. WTF. Who? You? Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, good. Yes. Okay, good. Just notice the frustration even. Notice the frustration coming up in your chest where you're like, what the fuck is that? Okay. WTF. That's actually where my journey started, by the way. When I was like seeing other people being really successful, I'm like, I'm working harder. I think I'm just as talented. I'm like, there's nothing like tangibly that much different. Like, yeah, we're not the exact same, but there's nothing like WTF. Why are they getting so many more opportunities than me? I'm like so freaking confused right now. So one of the blocks that we have to talk about and we go deeper into, money is not a reward for suffering. Okay. A lot of you guys who are super uber talented, especially in fact, you guys who are super uber talented, or you have like really, really like pure hearts and you just want the best for everybody. You carry around this invisible contract. Okay. That money is somehow a reward for you being in pain, for you suffering on some level. How many of you guys can even kind of, even if you're like, I don't know exactly but you can kind of feel something in that. Okay. Money is not a reward for suffering. I just need to tell you that right now. Okay. If you can hear it on a deeper level, it doesn't care. I'm sorry to say this. It doesn't really care how hard you've worked. Okay, it doesn't really care how long you've waited or how much you have even wanted it, although the desire is a sign that it's available for you. So you should take that desire as a sign that it's available for you. But it doesn't care how much you've wanted it. Okay, the universe does not like judge you by your effort and how much pain and suffering and sacrifice you've put in. And I know that this is so popularized in the media, on social media, if you listen to podcasts, whatever it is. And I'm like, that is such the wrong message. I'm like, no wonder a lot of the people with the best hearted intentions are not the richest. No wonder. Because this message is being spread. And so if you're someone who has really good positive intentions and you're scared of doing something wrong or whatever it is, okay, whatever these things are that you are trapping yourself into, you go, okay, let me take that in. Okay, so then I guess I'll be good if I'm good enough, if I suffer enough, if I struggle enough for so many years, then finally I can justify me making money. So that when I make money, finally I've justified it. And I'm telling you guys, if you run this pattern, okay, you're going to be suffering and struggling for a very, very long time. I know because that was also me. Okay. And also to attract it, you actually have to stop needing it so much. Okay. So think about this. The person with all the money that you want, the person who has $1 million, okay, are they like needing $1,000 a month? Are they needing that $3,000? Are they like, is there this need? Oh my God, I need to go get it. No, because they already have it. They already know they're beyond it, right? I'm not saying that they're not going to want 3,000. I'm just saying there's like not that like attachment, that need, that kind of desperate need for it. Okay. And so what we actually want to do, you see people showing up online and they're like selling their offers or they're presenting themselves and their expertise and all of that stuff. And you're like, damn, they're so natural at it. Like there's like no shame around it. They're just like excited about it. They're just like, it's all they're doing. They're just inviting people, just like I'm doing right now. Okay. I'm just inviting you guys to an offer that I know is just freaking amazing, but I'm inviting you guys. I'm just inviting you guys. Okay. And you're like, whoa, how are they able to do it? And then when I show up on my Instagram stories or in my content, I'm like, is everyone hating me? Like, does everyone hate me now that I'm trying to sell something? Okay. This is what I'm talking about, guys. Like, let's be real. Okay. Because that contraction, that flinch, okay, with whatever it is in you, that is your resistance to big ass money. Okay. We want to release that resistance. We want you to understand your value at a fundamental, deep level, frequency, energetic identity level. We want you to be embodied in your offer, embodied in your value, embodied in the services that you are delivering. Does this make sense? Okay. Does this make sense? How many of you guys are resonating with what I'm saying? Okay. Like I want to, yes, I'm going to trigger the fuck out of you, by the way. That's my job. Okay. I want to trigger you guys. Okay. Because I want you guys to see all the little invisible ways that you're hiding, that you're playing small, that you think you can't, I don't know if I can do it. Okay. No. All right. That version of you got to go bye-bye. Got to go bye-bye. Just talk really, really quickly about this, guys, because I think it's important. Something that we cover deeper in the personal branding, okay, in Quantum Entrepreneur, but and also the sales, okay. I'm going to pose this question to you guys. What if people aren't just buying the tangible physical thing that you're serving? And yes, of course, there is a tangible physical thing that you are going to deliver. We all know you're capable of doing that, okay, and Quantum Entrepreneur is going to help you actually even create it. But what if what they're actually buying is your frequency? What if what they're actually buying is your presence, is your certainty in yourself? I keep on like bumping up against this thing, okay? What if that's actually what they're buying? You think they're buying the thing, but what they're actually buying is the certainty that you are activating within them that then allows them to do their thing at the highest level. Okay, I just want you to ponder that. Because then, if that is the case, which let's be like for me, I will tell you that is the case with me. If that is the case, okay, then the greatest thing that you could do for yourself is to embody that certainty within yourself and be able to show up online, be able to show up in your content, be able to show up in the room when you walk on a stage, whatever it is. The greatest, most impactful thing, most magnetic thing that you can do for your personal brand is to be fully fucking you. Okay. And yes, there are ways in which to actually turn that into something tangible. I want you guys to feel what I am saying, that it's the frequency, that if you really pay attention, okay, to even like what draws you in, it's not just the bells and the whistles and this and this and this. Like that is part of it for sure, because it's all useful. It's all helpful. It's all going to collapse time for you. But really, it is the frequency that you know that you need to embody in order to make that shit happen for yourself. Does that make sense? Okay. So getting a little off track, but I want to give you guys these little things for you to really think about and really sit on. Okay. Because it's really fucking important. And not a lot of people teach this. Not a lot of people are aware of this. Okay. So the universe, like we talked about, answers your main frequency, not a memorized affirmation. Okay. And this is why you can say, I am wealthy every morning and nothing moves. It's not that you're doing it wrong. You're doing it exactly like they tell you to do it. Okay. It's that the affirmation operates on the surface. And the frequency underneath is the one that the universe is actually responding to. To get like the quantum part of you is what the universe is actually abiding by. So you put a little affirmation here. Well, what do you think it's actually going to listen to? At some point, like that water over here is just going to like flow and overtake the little affirmations that you're saying over here, right? Okay. So between where you are right now, okay, and your next level, there is no real money gap. Let's not talk about money. Let's not think about the money exactly. Okay, only the meaning that you have given money. Okay, because the gap isn't actually about the number. It's about what you've decided that number means about you. Okay, about what's possible, about who you get to become. And we kind of talked about this yesterday, right? How many of you guys are actually committing to being millionaires and everything that that means? Like actually embodying your true self. Because I will tell you, your millionaire self, guys, it's not some other person. It is truly who you are. Like, let me tell you this. Okay. If I was, when I was making $2,000 a month and I had to do this call, first of all, I wouldn't be able to show up. I would literally have peed my pants. Okay. Or just fainted, or I don't know, just like run and like left the country. Although I didn't have money to do that, but whatever. I would literally have just fled. Okay. But if I had to show up to a call like this, I would have literally been like, hi guys, like, it's so good to see you. And do you know what I mean? Do you think that's really who the fuck I am or who the fuck I really was? No, that's not who I was. That's not who I am. I am way more who I am now that I make millions than I was when I was making $2,000 a month. So let me just pose this question to you. Guys, do you even know who you actually are? Because I'm just going to tell you off the bat that you don't actually know who you truly are. You don't know what you're made of. Not yet. And it's so much more than what you have been led to believe. Okay? And I can even say that for myself. I can say that for myself. I don't really know even now who I truly, 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 truly are. Okay? So I want you to sit with something for a moment. Okay? This whole idea of like, I manifested it and then I lost it. Okay? So you had a really, really big month and you're like, oh my God. Okay? And then it started to go away. You're like, what the fuck just happened? What happened? I was like on a high. Why did it leave? Why did it leave? Okay. Something was like almost yours and then it wasn't. I manifested it and then I lost it. Okay. This is not strategy, guys. Okay. It is not also willpower. It is not the fact that maybe you thought that I was like, I just don't have energy to do it. It's not even that. It's your capacity to hold wealth. It's your capacity to maintain wealth. Okay. So the money came in, but the frequency that you were holding, the identity, the nervous system, the inner state that you were operating from, it wasn't expanded enough to keep it. It was like literally hard. Like you're like, think about it. Okay. It's like you're overinflating a balloon and it's like, oh my God, this is so hard. And so then what happens? You want to naturally deflate it, correct? Because you want to go back to something that feels normal. You need to get a bigger balloon, guys. Okay. And that's part of this whole process is getting a bigger balloon. Okay. So that you can just like hold that and feel good holding that amount. Okay. Actually expanding your capacity permanently, not just like a one-off thing where you're like, oh my God. And then, okay. And then you like, I don't know, whatever comes up. This is crazy because it'll come up in a lot of different ways. You'll be like, I'm really tired. I can't do it anymore. Like literally you'll come up with every single physical, emotional, psychological excuse, right? That you need in order to sabotage it. Because your capacity, it's almost too much for your nervous system to like hold it. Because you're constantly, every day you have too much money, whatever the fuck that means, but you know what I mean? It feels uncomfortable. It feels uncomfortable. Okay? So let me show you what capacity actually is in the body. Okay? Your nervous system holds a set point. Okay? A frequency range that it knows, a version of you that it recognizes as safe. Like we talked about. By the way, this also applies to weight, you know, like when we have trouble like losing weight, it's like, why is it that I always go back to around the same weight? It's the same idea. It's because the identity, the identity did not shift. Okay. So the reason why you'll sabotage yourself is because it's trying to protect you. It's not because you don't want it or you can't have it. So maybe this comes up, like I said, it's like overall, oh my God, this is so much. Oh my God. Okay. Or I think for a lot of you guys, it would also come up as guilt. Okay. Like, oh my God, that was so unnaturally big. That was so unnatural. I was so lucky to have manifested that out of nowhere. Okay. And then all of a sudden, because you called it like luck, you see what I'm saying? You go, well, then it was so lucky. Well, so then how can I hold that? Right? So expanding capacity means expanding what your nervous system recognizes as normal. And underneath capacity, there is another layer, guys, right? Permission. Permission. Somewhere along the way, most of us absorbed a set of rules about what we were allowed to want. How much is too much? What kind of person takes up that much space? How many times have you guys even heard passively in childhood? Maybe you had siblings or something like that. It's like, I want more. Can I have more? No, you have to wait your turn. Don't be so greedy. You know, Sheila only got this much. So you have to like wait your turn. You can't have more than her. Or even in school, you're speaking out of turn. You're speaking too much. You're getting too much attention. So we were conditioned that being good, being right, being safe, being liked was about being small. And this is something that does not just run in your emotions or in your thoughts. We don't think about that. Like, oh, if I'm good, if I take less, I am good. If I take less, I am good. No one thinks about that. No one's like, why the fuck am I settling for less? That's what you think. Okay. But there is a deeper conditioning that's happening in your body and in your quantum field that's going, nope, that's not safe. That's dangerous. Remember, we learned that. Okay. So the guilt around wanting money, around wanting more, it itself is a frequency. Like literally, like when I actually have worked with people, I'm like, you have a lot of guilt in your chest, in your back. Like I just see a lot of guilt coming up. And by the way, a lot of you guys are relating to this right now. I can actually just see that. So everyone just take a deep breath in through your nose, deep into your chest. Okay. Guys, it's so important for you to pay attention what you're listening to. Okay. Because oh my man, it's crazy. Like, okay. One thing I'm just going to say about this. So, like you'll hear people like even like entrepreneurs and stuff like that. And they'll say like, it's all about generosity. It's all about giving back. It's all about giving back. You have to ask yourself the question, from what place are they standing to be able to say that? Okay. Because when I see the wrong people listening to that, like it could be true, but let's talk about paradigms. Okay. So for someone who is ascended as Jesus, very true, let's say. Okay. I'm just going to bring up I'm just trying to bring up examples here. Okay. But someone who runs the guilt pattern, someone who runs burden, someone who overgives themselves, someone who has no boundaries, if they hear that same piece of advice, it's like literally the worst thing that you could take in as true. I know I'm not going to get a lot of love for saying that out loud, but it is freaking true. Okay. So you really need to pay attention from where are they saying that? Is that activating the guilt inside of me? Is that activating the overgiving part of me? Is it activating the part of me that doesn't deserve more, that I always have to give everything away to everybody? Okay, you got to pay attention, right? That's why it's so important to understand the fundamentals of frequency and energy and how reality works. Okay, how identity, like what does it actually take to embody the quantum entrepreneur, the millionaire? Okay, what does that actually take? You can't have the wrong set of definitions running in you if you want to be at a higher level of abundance consciousness. You can't have the wrong set of definitions. I have met many, many, many very, 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 very wealthy people. I mean, billionaires, okay? And they would not even think about some of the things that the average person thinks about. They wouldn't even think about feeling guilty for anything. They wouldn't think about feeling guilty about it. And they're not even bad people. It's just not the way they operate. And that serves them. They actually want what's best for others. They just don't have the wrong definition of stuff that's running their reality. How many of you guys are hearing me right now? Okay? Because this is really important. This is really fucking important. All right? So let's talk about magnetism, right? Energy sells before you even say a single word. Okay. Before the caption, before the offer, before the sales page, something is already being communicated, and it either pulls people toward you or it doesn't. Simple. Okay. And this is why you can have the right strategy, the right framework, the right posting schedule, and still feel like you are pushing against something invisible, and why someone else can post something very simple. Okay. It breaks every rule. Like a lot of times when I've just picked something up and I was just in the moment, I was just flowing and I was just like, I don't even care what I'm saying, but I'm just going to say it. I don't even have a script or whatever. Sometimes those reels have actually gone viral. I'm like, I didn't even think about that. I wasn't even thinking about that. That was like a no effort reel. Okay. But are we always going to exist in the state? No. And this is why we also do want the tangible part. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I rely with my content on the tangible tactics that we are teaching you in Quantum Entrepreneur. Like, I rely on that stuff, because am I always in this state of being able to just like flow things out? Do you know what I mean? Flow things out all the time and have my camera and have the fucking makeup or whatever. No, I'm not. And I don't feel like it. And so that is where I personally, as a 99% quantum person who likes to live in that, to be quite honest, a lot of this stuff that we're going to teach you, like the frameworks and the AI, the quantum AI, about all that stuff, it's to support you so that you can live more in the quantum. Okay? Because I don't know about you. I don't fucking love sitting there just scripting everything and like planning everything, right? It's like exhausting, right? And then it allows me to be in the flow. And then when I have those things down, it allows me to then, when I have this spurt of inspiration come through me, I'm like, boom, done. But am I in that state all the fucking time? Unfortunately, no. I'm trying to get there, but I am also a human being. Okay. I am also a human being, right? I'm on this journey with you guys. Okay. So anyway, this is why you can have the right strategy, the right framework, the right posting schedule, and still feel like you're pushing against something kind of like invisible, right? You know what I mean? You're like, what the heck is going on here? I have all the right answers. I'm confused. Okay. Those people, they're not smarter than you. They're not even better at strategy. They probably have systems. Okay. But they're broadcasting something differently. They're broadcasting something differently, right? And this is where systems are important to support you in your quantum, right? Like, I noticed that a lot of the times, actually, my business is better when I'm not like constantly grinding, because it allows my frequency to be more in the quantum more of the time, while I have the physical systems, okay, that can take care of the other stuff. Does that make sense? Okay. So Bianca posted from a different state on her social media. It wasn't a new strategy or a better hook or a longer caption. She shifted her frequency, and then she posted 5 clients from one single post. Okay. That isn't like marketing. In fact, I didn't tell her anything about that. That's magnetism. And it's what becomes available the moment the frequency is actually aligned. Okay. Magnetism, though, it is not something that you just perform. Although when you get started, okay, I don't want you to have any shame in the fact that you are performing. That's fine. It's fine. Okay. The shame around the thing is worse than the thing. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, moving on. I have like so many things that I just get so friggin' sidetracked. But anyway, magnetism isn't something that you perform. Okay. It's something you become when you actually stop performing this small ass role that's not even you. Okay. And also when you stop trying to convince and prove or push and start moving actually from this identity that you already know that you have something real, that you are something real. I mean, you are something real, but you know what I mean? Like you're embodying that presence that feels natural to you and feels good to you at like a deep soul level. You're like, yes, this is me in my fucking power. This is me energetically aligned. Okay. And I do the same things, but now I'm energetically aligned and I feel, and this gives back to me at a soul spirit level as well. Okay. So I want to show you where your frequency is right now. Okay. So we are just going to, okay, I got to put my little eye drops in, and then everybody just like try to settle into a spot that feels good for you. So just take a deep breath in through your nose, deep into your chest. I'm just waiting for the group. Okay, and a lot of the times when I see people or work with people, bring your attention to your chest. Okay, and I want you to actually just even take a self audit right now in terms of how expanded do you feel in your chest? If you can even get a level of granularity in just sensing what is happening in your chest. Is there fear there? Is there hesitancy? What is that energy that is in your chest that is likely present at all times, but you just don't have the awareness, or you just haven't brought your awareness enough to notice it? A lot of times, this is actually where I see that people hold on to guilt, they hold on to shame, they hold on to the self doubt. The second guessing. So just notice whatever, even it can even come to you as a thought, as a sound, or as a feeling. And whatever it is that silently runs in the background, silently runs in the background of your entire reality, by the way, coloring your entire reality, by the way. Even when you feel confident, this is silently running in the background. Okay? That's why there are different levels to confidence, even. How pure is that confidence? And take another deep breath in through your nose, deep into your chest. And as you let it go, give yourself permission to let go of whatever it is that's invisibly running in your field that you're not even conscious of, or that you try to mask or hide. For a lot of you guys, it's guilt. It's guilt for even wanting to strive for more. Kind of interesting. Like, well, if my family's not doing it, then am I allowed to do it, for instance? Okay. I went through that process myself. Well, if people in my community aren't doing it, then am I allowed to do it? Whatever it is that's coming up that you don't even consciously realize, but ends up filtering your reality. And then bring your attention to your throat space. So for a lot of you, this is, it's like you feel like you're being taken by the throat, like you're being choked off. Right? And so it'll show up as, can I even do this? I don't know if I can, I don't know if I have it in me. I don't know if I can do this. Okay. And because it's bumping up against this point of resistance, right? Just like the balloon, we try to take out the pressure. And so oftentimes it just feels more comfortable. Just go, okay, well, I guess just not now, or I can't do it, and whatever. Right? I've been there a lot of times too. Okay. Okay, good. So I don't know why this is coming up, but a lot of the times, or sometimes, let's say sometimes, a lot of times, pressure is not meant to be relieved. Okay. When you're expanding your capacity, okay, it's not even just about expanding your capacity to do and receive and all of that stuff. It's also expanding your capacity to hold even things like uncertainty. Okay. I'll tell you, this is one of the biggest things that really sabotages people, especially in business. It's why a lot of business owners, they'll quit. It's because they can't deal with the pressure of uncertainty. They haven't built up the capacity to hold that. The capacity to hold discomfort. It's because we identify too closely with those things. We don't know who we are without identifying, again, to these patterns. That's why I talk about releasing these patterns, because otherwise we identify with them. They pull us off track. They discourage us. They sabotage us. We quit before we get to the reward. Good. Now bring your attention to your entire spine. Helping us come back to center. I'm not going to get into it right now, but being in your center, it's actually that's where the mastery is energetically. But it's very hard to be in your center when you have all these patterns running you, okay? So everyone just take another deep breath in through your nose, deep into your chest. And just let it go. Okay. So I know we kind of did our own thing. Okay. But just notice what came up for you. Right? That when you are in alignment, okay, ideally, you don't have these other things filtering everything that you do, whether it's the self-doubt or it's that fear, or it's like, I don't know, and I'm not sure, and all that stuff, right? That you are operating from the pure quantum expression of who you are meant to be expressed in this lifetime. This is why I call it the quantum CEO, because it's not just about you running a business. It's about the business being a reflection of your process of self-actualization. Okay? The practical and the spiritual and the energetic, right? It is both. We are human beings, we are spiritual beings, but we are living a very three-dimensional human experience. We came here to enjoy it. We came here to live it at the highest levels, okay? So I want you to write down 2 different numbers, okay? Don't think about what is realistic. Don't strategize. I don't even want you to think about the calculations or whatever. Just write the first number that comes up. Okay. Number 1 is the number that you've been kind of like circling under or around. Okay. It's that ceiling. Okay. That number that you can maybe get to sometimes, and then you're always pulled back. Maybe you've hit it a few times and you're always pulled back. What is that number? Okay. And then I want you to write down the number that you actually want. Not the edited version of the number, not the, oh, well, if I'm being really good, then I would request this number instead of the actual number that really lights me up. Okay? The number that you actually want. The one that has been living in you, right? The one that, come on, when you're like by yourself, you wake up, you're like, oh, wow. Okay, I can really picture it. Like, I love that number. Okay, I want you to put it into like some physical form. Like, I want you to write it down. Okay, write that shit down. Okay. So when you look at the second number, okay, I want you to just notice when you really look at the second number and you're even writing it down, what happens in your body. There might be some like excitement, like, oh my God, that would be so amazing. But then if you get really aware, you get really honest, okay, kind of like what we were just doing, there is probably something else, right? Which is like a tightening Maybe like, ooh, that's a little much. Ooh, how am I going to make that shit happen? Okay. A voice that says, who do you think you are? Or like, that is so unrealistic. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Like really from you? Okay. Whatever that is that comes up for you. Okay. Again, that reaction in your body, that pinch, that contraction, that moment of wanting to hide the number, that is not a money gap. I need you guys to understand that is a frequency gap. It is an identity gap. Okay? Your body just showed you the exact location of the work. And it's not in your content or strategies or your offers. Okay. That's like the billboard sign. Do you know what I mean? You know, you like drive, like I was driving to Las Vegas the other week and I was passing by all these billboards and like, blah, 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 stop for this, apple pie 3 miles away, whatever it was. Okay. And I just think of like your content, okay, all that stuff, like the landing page, whatever it is, that's like the billboard. Okay. It's not the attraction. It's the billboard. Okay. So anyway, the attraction is your frequency. The attraction is you. Okay. The frequency that you're holding around what you're allowed to want, what you can receive, what you believe is actually available to you. Right. The navigator needs your real location though, in order to build the route. And your body gave you a little bit of a piece of that. Okay. So the gap between your two numbers is not about whether the second number is possible. I'm telling you from someone who's making $2,000 a month. And like, even my husband being like, you know, I don't think she's ever getting out of this. Okay. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't just me. Okay. It's like I didn't even want to go to family gatherings because I was so freaking embarrassed. Like, I didn't even want to show my face anywhere. I remember I didn't even go to Thanksgiving and Christmas one year, and I made some excuse, but really the real reason is because I didn't want to have to actually talk to people and have them ask me the dreaded fucking question, so Paget, what's new with you? And I'm like, crystals? I don't know, nothing. You know what I mean? And I was like, I didn't want to like face that. Okay. Anyway, here I am is my point. Here I am, right? So every number is possible at the right frequency, at the right conscious, in the right conscious, in the right identity. The only question is whether you can hold the frequency of someone who already has it, right? Now there's a pattern called the upper limit. How many guys have kind of heard about this concept in like the self-help space, right? Every time you get close to the next level, there's something that pulls you back, an unexpected cost. Right? A relationship that's going to need your attention, something going wrong, something horribly going wrong. A good month, then it's followed by a really small one. An opportunity that almost materialized and then it was taken back. Okay? It's not bad luck. It is literally you. You are the creator of all of this, guys. You need to actually like see how powerful you are in creating the opportunities, in creating the lack of opportunities, in creating all of it. There's a reason why. There's a reason why. Okay? Your frequency ceiling is maintaining the familiar. So one of my students did this exercise, by the way, wrote her ceiling number. She wrote the real number twice, which was like, wrote the real number, sorry, that was actually twice her ceiling. And she committed to holding that frequency. She didn't decide that she's going to like want it in waves or anything. She just decided that she was going to hold it. Okay. And the next month, not even kidding with you, she made exactly twice her ceiling. How far can you expand? It's what I'm trying to challenge you with. Okay? That what you think is so real. It's so fucking real. It's so real, Paget, but you don't get it, Paget. I don't, but I do. I don't, but I do. And no one got it from me, but I did. Right? So also Valentina, right? So I remember she was really terrified of actually doing this work and she kept stopping herself from breaking through her ceiling. And I'm like, wow, there's a lot of fear in you. And she's like, I know. So I'm like, okay, we got to release that. So then she started to actually release that fear. Okay, what is this thing? What is this thing? And for her, it was actually also like a lack of control. We talk about that in Quantum Entrepreneur. And she expanded the frequency of what she could receive. Okay. Her capacity also expanded. She had her first 5-figure launch that was $50,000. Okay. The strategy did not change. Her capacity did. And Anna, I talked about her. I have to protect her identity. Okay. Because like what's happened to her is pretty crazy. But, so basically an investment that she had been sitting on unclaimed for years. She was doing this work and she was really being challenged. I mean, really being challenged, guys. I mean, being challenged for like months. And I'm like, the payoff is going to be worth it. The payoff is going to be worth it. I promise. Right. And within months, I think it was about 4 or 5 months. Okay. Now she had been healing and stuff like that before, but as she kept on confirming her identity, right, releasing the blockages that the universe are trying to show her and show her in her field, literally she came into a not even like 7 figures. It's actually a multi 7-figure investment. Okay. And it's crazy because she was like, I don't know why all this is happening to me, right? She was basically having to show, the universe was forcing her to see all of her shit, okay, that she needed to release. She did the work of releasing it. And then it was like, oh yeah, here you go. Here's what's waiting for you, okay? When you expand the frequency, the upper limit moves, not because you forced it, not by ignoring that it's there, but by becoming the person whose identity recognizes the number as just theirs. You don't contract, okay? You're the person who can just hold it. And I want you to understand that you have the full power to actually do this, you have the full power over that shift. So you just felt the gap. You see kind of where it lives in your field, okay? What closes it? So here's the answer, and it explains something that a lot of people, like most people in life, are just not going to figure out. Okay. Most of the people in this room have probably tried one of 2 things. Okay. I talked about this, the spiritual side, the energy work, the coaching, the healings, meditations, even the frequency work. There's a real shift on the inside, a real opening. Like you can fucking feel that. Right. And then the money doesn't quite follow. Like the clients don't quite materialize the way that you felt like they should. The internal change doesn't quite translate into the external result at the level that you want or consistently enough. Or world 2, which is the strategy side. Okay. So all the frameworks, all the funnels, all the content calendar, the launch plans, the offers, you got it all dialed in. Everything's perfect. Okay. You know what to do. You're doing all the things, but then something invisible keeps getting in the way, right? You'll execute the plan and then somehow you just sabotage it. You get cold feet, you sabotage it after the first day or the first 2 days or whatever, right? The strategy is right. And then the results don't quite match and you can feel it. You can feel that there's something resisting underneath, right? Most people have lived in one of them, maybe even trying to go back and forth between them, right? Hoping that the one would eventually show up on its own. The other one would eventually show up on its own, but it doesn't, okay? Because they were never designed to actually work by themselves. Like I said, a lot of the people who are highly successful, I noticed they already have a lot of this identity stuff, also the frequency, like built into them, right? And so when they go and execute the strategy and everything like that, it's like, yeah, it works. So hey, guys, why aren't you guys doing the strategy? It works. They already have like that built into them. I was not that person. Obviously, right? Clearly, I was not that person. I actually had to build that within myself. So here's the formula that explains everything that has not worked, okay? You change the frequency without the structure. The money it can arrive, right? It can arrive, but it maybe doesn't arrive consistently enough. You don't feel confident around it, okay? You don't feel confident even executing around it. You build the structure without the frequency and then you self-sabotage it, or it falls flat, or it's like, where's the energy? Where's the identity behind this that's going to actually maintain this? So I want you to let that sit for a second. Energy without structure stays feeling. And I also want you to notice where you've been living predominantly. Okay. Number 1, if predominantly you have been living in just the energy. Number 2, predominantly you have been living in really just the funnels and the structure and the strategy and all that stuff. Okay. Because energy without structure, it just kind of stays that feeling. Okay. You shift, you feel the difference inside, and then you're like, oh, where do I funnel this? How do I land this into, like, where do I put this? Okay. And then structure without energy is just a tactic that at some point you're going to end up sabotaging because like, I don't feel like I'm the person who can do this. Right? You have the plan, the strategy is good. And then there's some part of you that's always questioning it, that's always undermining it. Okay. Because the identity hasn't caught up yet. All right. So I want you to let that sit again, right? This is the only place. And this is why I'm so freaking excited about this. I've been waiting to create this for, again, like 9, 8 months or even up to a year. I probably started thinking about this a year ago. But I've been waiting to create this because I knew I needed the right team. I needed the right tool. I needed everything to be at the level that I needed it to be at. Okay. So this is the only place where these two worlds at a really high level, by the way, not like two worlds at like small level, right? Low level, two worlds at a really high level finally come to meet in the same room at the same time. This isn't just a spiritual course with a strategy module bolted onto it. Okay. It's not a business program with a mindset section tacked on at the end or in the beginning. In every single module, there's the frequency work and the structure work. They move together. So you can't sabotage yourself, guys. You can't like, well, I think I'm just going to kind of do this. No, you're going to have something that you need to do. Okay. You're going to have something actionable that you need to do together. You have other people doing it with you. I know that you can do this because you fucking can. Does that make sense? You can. All right. You need to hear that. Okay. So in every single module, the frequency work and the structure, they move together because that is the only way that the real results are actually going to last. So I spent years on the frequency side. Obviously, I'm fucking obsessed with this shit. It's like what I love to think about. It's like what I'm obsessed with. Okay. It's where I lead from. It's literally how I diagnose everything in my reality, right? It's where I always built everything from. It's just my obsession. It's my passion. And if I knew that I was going to create something that actually held both worlds at the same time, I needed to build it with someone who spent her entire career on the other side that I don't like. I wanted someone who like wasn't like at my level of understanding business, because I do also know a lot of business and marketing and sales. Like I've had to, okay, like learn it the hard way, like really the hard way. I wanted someone who was like better than me. Okay. I wanted someone who was at the top of her game in her respective field. And that's why I created this program in partnership with Layla Greenhill. Okay. The master of online business building. I went from $2,000 a month for over a decade to $1 million in 18 months. That's the identity transformation. Okay. That I am walking you through. That is like the basis for it. Okay. But Layla spent that same decade building over $100 million in results with some of the most recognized names in the online space that I know that a lot of you guys probably know. And when her startup walked away with the #1 award in the UAE in 2024, it wasn't a surprise to anyone who'd watched her work. She understands something about structure that most strategy teachers only try to guess at. Okay. In fact, anyway, I'm not going to go into it, but I know people who try to copy what she does from like the outside. They try to copy what she does. You're literally getting it from the inside. Okay. So I hold the frequency side. Layla holds the structure side. And when you're in a room where both are present at the same time, you don't have to choose between like the shift in the identity and the quantum and the spirituality and then the system. You get all of it together. You get the shift foundation, right? We talked about is the foundation. It is the water that flows through the dam. And then you also get the offer, the launch, right? The conversation with a number that has a comma in it that maybe you don't recognize, but you actually get to apply it in real life, in the tangible, tactical reality. Okay. So again, me, identity, energy, frequency, Layla, positioning, offers, launches, scale, all in one program. That's what I'm super excited about. So one of my students went through a frequency shift on a Tuesday. Okay. On a Wednesday, this was just from the frequency, by the way. On a Wednesday, she had a concrete offer, a concrete conversation, and then it converted the very next day. Okay. That's what happens when the frequency has somewhere to actually funnel through, when the structure is already there to catch it properly and you feel confident in the structure. You're not like trying to kind of learn it haphazardly. You feel confident in the structure. Saranella had the same offer that she had been running for months. After the frequency work, 4 times the revenue, the same offer, the same audience, a different frequency underneath. Because the structure, like anything actually in life, amplifies the frequency underneath it. Okay. So again, which world have you guys been in? Okay. So a lot of you guys, you guys didn't even answer my question. You guys didn't even answer my question. 1, are you the spiritual world, or 2, the tactical world? I kind of want to know. Like, I want to know. Type in the chat. I'm literally looking at it. Direction, structure. Okay, what 444, strategy at times, 1. Okay. Oh, 4. Okay, sorry. Okay. So, I'm sorry. Okay, which world have you been in? Because I kind of want to know. Spiritual world. Okay, both 1 and 2. Okay, yeah. So you go back and forth, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Okay. So this is where you don't have to go back and forth. Switching. All right, got it. Yes. How annoying is it to switch, by the way? Okay, so that's exactly what this is built to close. Okay, the gap. Trust me, guys, I have done a lot of spiritual stuff. Okay, just in the spiritual. Some of it good, some of it not good. I have done a lot in the business because that was where my weak point was. Holy shit, I can't tell you how many programs I bought, like trying to learn the business stuff. And it's all like, and a lot of it is kind of conflicting. And like, it kind of conflicts. And you're like, how does this all piece together? You're telling me how to do Instagram stories. You're telling me how to do Reels. You're telling me how to create a landing page. You're telling me how to do it. It's like, okay, how do I actually just build a structure of something that I can just run with, right? So that's exactly what this is built to actually merge together. So you've been hearing about Quantum Entrepreneur, I know, since the moment that you joined the waitlist. And today it opens. Okay, I'm so freaking excited about this. There's going to be 8 modules, but it's not like 8 lessons, guys. I mean, this is, not to overload you, but I want you guys to have as much of what you need, okay, on the energy and the frequency side and the identity side, and then also on the strategy, the tactical side as well. Okay, 2 months of the work, right? Everything that you need to become the person who can then also build the business at the same time. It actually happens at the same time. So when you're actually building your business, by the way, and you're understanding the energy, the identity, the processes of all of that, okay, it goes at the same time. So they actually both complement each other. Like, as I am a business owner, sure, I think about obviously the tactical stuff. I have to. But most of the time, I am focused on, okay, what is this asking me to do here? What's the up level here? What's the energy coming up here that I need to release? How do I step into the next level of my identity? Like, I'm always asking those questions because I know that that is the thing that's going to carry it all, right? So the full program, 8 modules with myself and Layla starting July 8th. But if you guys are jumping in on the early bird, we are going to have a welcome session just for you guys. Okay. Just for you guys. And we're also going to have a Q&A just for you guys who jump in now at the lowest price and the best conditions. Access to all the recordings for 6 months, the Quantum Resource Library, weekly masterminds, mentor support inside the community, 8 Q&A calls with your quantum mentor, 5 Q&A calls with me, although you guys are going to get a bonus. The quantum product breakdown, the personal brand breakdown with Layla. Turn your personal brand, which is really just your magnetic frequency, but actually turn that into like what that means when it comes to like, content and how you show up and the words and all of that stuff. Individual feedback on your work in a private chat and on calls, a practical assignment under every lesson, a private student community. This is where you're not going to feel like alone. You know what I mean? You're not going to feel like, well, but now I don't want to post. No, you're going to have to do it. I'm sorry, you're going to have to do it. Okay. You're doing it with an entire group of people and a certificate upon completion. And then, of course, one of my favorite things that I talked about yesterday is the Quantum Paget AI, which is both the mentor for your business, right? That I'll talk about the offers and the sales page and the copy and and the content and all those things. Okay. And then it will also turn into coaching mode, which is like my mode. All right. So that's really cool and fun. So between the calls, you can always talk to it like whenever you need to, whenever you get stuck on the structure side of things, the content side of things, or you get stuck on the coaching side of things, the energy, the identity side of things. Okay. Plus, when you enroll today, because you guys are on the wait list, you get the quantum content codes, content that transmits energy, authority, and confidence before anyone actually even interacts with your content, right? They can just feel, again, it's the presence that actually speaks more than the words that you say. Luxury feminine wealth, how to build serious money without burning out the masculine way. The quantum sales scripts, so the energetic messaging for your content, okay? Your DMs, your launches, your offers, ready to use warm-up content templates, the plug and play warm-up content that you can launch immediately, the manifestation versus strategy, when to release, when to execute, how to actually know the difference. So these bonuses are available today and they come off the table the moment enrollment closes. Okay. So you're going to be getting access to pre-sale price for early participants at only $3,000. I mean, this is, and there are different payment plans and stuff. This is like a crazy price. Because I mean, I've spent so much more money on different programs and things like that when it comes to just the business part of it. I mean, like $10,000, $20,000. Okay. But I wanted to make the greatest program that I possibly could that merges both of them together. And I also wanted to make it accessible. Okay. So if you're feeling that this is the moment that you're ready to jump in, the link is going to be in the chat right now. Click, jump in, reserve your spot, and the price and the bonuses are locked in the moment that you do. I'm super freaking excited about this. Okay, so if you want to see exactly what's inside, first, stay, okay? Because I'm going to walk you through every single module, every element, everything that you get. So whatever you decide, you're going to decide with full clarity today. But one thing before we do actually go into this is the very first launch of this product. This is the lowest that this will ever be, okay? This is the lowest that this is ever going to be with the bonuses and the extra Q&A calls, right? And all of that you're going to be getting and the extra welcome call, right? So today it's $3,000, but that is the floor. That is the lowest that this program will ever be. So from here on out, right? It doesn't just jump once and stop. It is going to climb launch after launch until it reaches the actual price. So double the entry for the same program. I mean, really triple the entry for the same program because every round here has more proof behind it. More people are going to have success behind it. More people are going to have their first 10K month, their first clients, get their first offer out there, get their first sales out there, right? There's going to be more proof around this. So you're going to be coming in at the best conditions that this program is ever going to have. So I just highly am like, I don't even know why you would not want to jump into this if this is resonating with you. If you're like, yes, I need that the identity and the frequency. And it would be really amazing to have this tool that gives me the content ideas and the sales scripts and all that stuff. So I don't have to waste time, my precious time doing that stuff. I can be more feeding the quantum part of me, right? I can have that part dialed in. Or you're like, you know what? Like, I really want to understand the content part and I really want to understand the tactical part from someone at the top of her game. Like, you can't lose. Either way you come in, okay? This is like my whole dream program, to be honest. Like I said, I've been manifesting this for a while because I'm like, I want it where people don't have any excuse in any form. They don't have the excuse when it comes to the mindset and the energy, and they also don't have the excuse when it comes to the strategy and the tactical stuff. Okay, so let me show you exactly what $3,000 gets you. This is not 8 videos. Oh, it's not 8 videos. Okay, I need to take a drink of water. This is not 8 videos. Let's put it that way. Okay, every module ends with one thing, by the way. You're actually going to implement something in your actual life. And every module has 2 layers running simultaneously. It is the frequency work, what's in the way at the level of identity and energy, and how we actually release it so that you can actually become that quantum CEO at the next level of income. And also the practical work, the specific structure, the specific strategy, the specific next steps, both of them in every single session. So module 1, I believe this has 7 lessons. Module 1, I believe, has 7 lessons in it. But this is where we start, okay? Because everything else is built on top of who you believe you are, not at a mind level, but at a quantum level, okay? What your capacity is actually ready to hold, right? You've done a lot of inner work, probably most than most people you know, okay? And you're still here, maybe bumping up against the same ceiling. So this module goes to the exact layers that the other ones maybe didn't reach. The hidden roles that you keep on recreating, that keep recreating your old reality that you don't even realize, by the way, are even stopping you. You just think is normal. You just think it's normal. It's just normal that I overgive. It's just normal that I put everyone before me. I just automatically do it. I don't even know why I do it. I just do it. That's normal. Okay? The version of you that learned to stay small as a form of protection so you don't even feel like you have a choice. Okay, we got to break that. All right? And that is an energy thing, and that is also an identity thing. So we don't just talk about it, we actually dismantle it. Okay. And we activate your future self, the person that you are becoming. So you start operating from that identity now. Module 2, we cover the wealth frequency. This is the money module, and it's not about strategy. This is really, 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 really important. Remember when I said, I know that you know you want money, but if you really, really fully wanted money through and through, you would have the money. Okay, so we actually have to identify where is it in you that does not want the money? At what level is it in you that does not want the money? Why would you not want the money? And actually release it at that level. Okay, because you've seen today that the ceiling, it's not your plan. It is the frequency that you are holding while you are executing the plan. So we have to work on the frequency of having, right? Not wanting, but actually having, like I said, actually receiving it into our field and holding it into our field. We have to expand your capacity to hold the wealth in your identity and also in your frequency. Okay. Module 3, this is really exciting. I love this one. Is the magnetic personal brand, because you guys all know that I have my own take about what makes a magnetic personal brand. Like, yes, okay, you can say all the right things, you can look the part, whatever, right? There's plenty of that. By the way, in the age of AI, that's not what people are going to want. That's not what people are going to want. We're going to get more and more sensitized to what is fake and what is real, okay? And so you want to be the person who is able to show up and people can really fucking feel you beyond the screen, beyond what you look like, even beyond the words that come out of your mouth. They can feel your presence. That is what I believe is the power of a magnetic personal brand in the future. Okay? People can feel you through the screen, not just what you say, not just what you do. They love your frequency. They love your presence. They want to be around that. That is something that AI can never automate away. Okay. So AI, to me, it's the great equalizer in some ways. To me, it's going to really reveal those people who actually embody something real and those people who don't, who are just like playing a part. Okay. That's something that no one's going to be able to take away from you. And the reason why I'm so passionate about this is because in the age of AI, you'll even hear all the top tech people talk about how this is like one of the most valuable things that you can actually even develop. And they don't know necessarily how to develop it, right? But they're like, yeah, connection is going to be so important. It's going to be like the number one thing. Connection. How do people connect with you? How do you connect with other people? Okay. So we start with the fears and beliefs that have been running your brand. Okay. The fear of being too much, the fear of being seen as wrong, right? This pull to just stay kind of like generic and not controversial because I don't want anyone to criticize me. Okay. You're hiding. You're hiding when you do that, and people can feel that you're hiding. Okay. And also your story, how your story plays into your magnetic personal brand as well, because that's a really, really important part of it, right? An AI can't have your story. It doesn't have a story. It's like beep, beep, boop. Okay. That's its story. So then Layla comes in with the structure, right? Your personal brand DNA, your $1 million positioning, your content system, your lead generation built on top of the identity that you have created that is actually clear, that is actually powerful, so that you get a personal brand and positioning that pulls the right people to you. By the way, guys, it's not just about getting hundreds of thousands of followers. I know people, okay, who attract the right people to her. It's like a few thousand followers, and she's still making 7 figures in a year. Okay. It's not about attracting millions of followers all the time. Okay. It's actually being able to attract the right people, being able to be visible to the right people. Okay. Does that make sense? I also know people who have millions and millions and they don't really make that much. Right? You want to attract the right people. Okay. Module 4 is the quantum offer, the offer that people can't stop talking about. And that starts here. Okay. So I want to just lead with this, that what you do comes most easily to you. That's exactly why you have been undercharging for it. When something feels natural, it doesn't feel valuable enough to ask for money for it. But I'm telling you guys, it is the thing that is the most natural to you that no one else can do the way that you can do it. I hope you guys understand this, okay? It is a thing. What if the thing that felt the easiest for you, where you're like, I mean, who's going to want, like, what's the value of that, is actually the very thing that you could charge the most money for? I want you to actually sit with that, because this holds a lot of people back. Okay. So this module is where we're going to close that gap. The permission to actually charge for your work and what it's actually worth, right? The language of desire that makes people feel the transformation before they buy it, the premium pricing framework. So Layla builds the offer architecture. I make sure that the frequency actually matches it. Okay. So you're going to be getting a premium signature offer. People are actually excited to buy, priced for the value that you actually do create, whether you're trying to work your ass off for it or not. Okay. Because it's not about that. It's not about that. Again, what comes the most easily to you is often what the world will pay you for. Okay. You have to understand this, because I don't want this to hold you guys back. I don't want you to hold you guys back. Okay. Module, by the way, I want to just say one thing about that. When I first launched my first offer, okay, there were a lot of people who said that, like, it wasn't going to be successful. And they told me, don't do it. Don't do it. They literally told me, don't do it. Stupid. But I was like, so then that's actually what I did, is I then just like put it out there. I'm like, does anyone want this? Right. And then all of a sudden it led to my first signature program. Okay. Right. Because it was a thing that felt the most, right. I didn't build my $1 million, by the way, by selling people on the $1 million, obviously, right? It was the quantum energy. It was the process. It was the blueprint and quantum shifting. It was a thing that I was fucking obsessed with, that I was just doing without getting paid for, that I was so obsessed with. Do you understand? Okay. It's really important that you understand, because sometimes we hold ourselves back because we're like, but like, yeah, because those people are selling that kind of thing and that's why. It's not. They eventually sell that thing, but they were usually selling something completely different to get the success. And then as you evolve, you also then evolve what you're interested in, right? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to you guys. Okay. So, most of the resistance. Okay. So we're going to talk about sales. Okay. Yeah. The sales, right? How many of you guys get a little bit resistant to selling? You're like, yay, I love showing. Maybe you're not even like, yay, I love showing. Maybe you're like, I'm scared of showing up, so I'm terrified of selling. Okay? I don't know, wherever you're at with it. Or maybe you love showing up, but you hate selling. Whatever it is, guys, you got to get over it. Okay? Because that is just your identity, like the lower level identity that wants to hold you back. The guilt, right, for wanting and having more. The guilt for even feeling deserving of asking for anything. Guys, if you're a people pleaser, by the way, a lot of what is like running a people pleaser is literally like you don't even feel deserving of just fucking existing without like paying the price for it, right? Got to release that. Okay. So we're doing that inside of Quantum Entrepreneur. Got to release that in order for you to be able to sell, because you are worth it. You do deserve to be paid for your brilliance, for what you know, for what you provide. Okay. So we have to move that first. And then Layla builds the launch framework, the content that actually creates demand, the sales conversations, okay, to enroll without the pressure. So you get the full launch and sales system that enrolls clients without like trying to push, without you feel, it's not even like you're trying to push them in, but without you feeling like you're pushing them into something or something. You know, that weird energy that you feel where like, I feel like I'm forcing this, but it's like, no, you have a service, right? You know that it's valuable. You're inviting people to be a part of that, to actually benefit from the value that you're providing. That is all that sales is. By the way, even if you're in corporate, that is also what you're doing. You're selling yourself, okay? So no matter what, the ability to stand there and actually know your value, be in conversation and actually know your value, show up and actually know your value and be able to say it, okay, in a way where it feels good to you is extremely important. It's just going to be important no matter what. But anyway, module 6, $1 million funnels. Okay. The system that turns attention into clients. This is definitely not my expertise. I'm just telling you that right now. Not my expertise. But this is where the machine gets built. Okay. The funnel structure that works while you sleep. While you're with your family, you're on the beach, you're on vacation, whatever it is, you're chilling, you're meditating. I don't know. While you're doing anything other than actually trying to sell. Okay? Because a business only works when your working has a ceiling built into it, right? Can you imagine billionaires if like they were making money in proportion to how much they worked? It wouldn't happen. Module 7, the one-of-a-kind product system. So this is also really, really important. And again, a lot of these skills, by the way, guys, they're going to translate to every single freaking thing that you do. Anything that you do, any business that you have, anything that you end up doing, guys, we're all going to have a personal brand. We're all going to have to be able to sell. We're all going to have to embody the person who can sell, who can show up, who can offer a product, who knows how to market, who knows how to message, who knows how to have these conversations. So module 7 is a one-of-a-kind product system because most people teach their subject, right? I'm a teacher. It's kind of how I really see myself more like a teacher mentor, right? This module is about becoming the only person in the world who teaches it the way that you do, because you do have a unique methodology, whether you realize it yet or not. Okay? Your method, not someone else's, repack your method. The thing that you do that no one else does quite the same way that you do it. Okay, we design it, we name it, we build the ecosystem around it, the product suite, the client result system, the testimonials and referrals that come when people actually do transform through your work. So a signature method and a product ecosystem that creates real client results, testimonials, and referrals. And then module 8 is the Quantum CEO. This is where you stop being a freelancer, okay, who kind of built a business, and you actually become the CEO. Okay, this is a whole nother level. This is for those who are ready to scale, because you have to actually do this. You have to be able to hold this or switch into this identity if you want to scale. Like if you're ready to scale from $50,000 months to 100, then to $1 million, whatever, you need this part. Okay. Again, your identity at some point is going to be your cap. And you'll hear a lot of successful people out there say it, that your identity is going to be your cap in business. Okay. The identity of a quantum CEO is different. Okay. The decisions are different. The relationship to your business, to your time, to your system is different. So we work on the capacity to lead at that next level. The identity of someone who actually runs a company and then doesn't like just get lost in it, right? Then Layla builds the infrastructure, the team, the automation, the AI integration, the systems that run without you being in every single thing. Guys, this is like so much. I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. So the identity and the systems of a CEO, the team, the automation, and the decisions that run a business at the next level. And of course you get the quantum pageant AI, which of course I know I'm really excited about. Okay. So I'm really excited about this one. Because again, between the calls, between the modules, maybe you're like, I don't really like calls, or I don't even want to do that. I don't want to show up to the calls. You should, but maybe you don't want to. Okay. You have quantum pageant AI that is like trained on both of on the identity, on the energy, okay? To coach you out of those places where you're like, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what's showing up here. What do I need to release, right? And then there's the other mode, which is the content, and it's the strategy, and it's all the tactical stuff. You have that 24/7. You have the strategy mode, and then you have the coaching mode. The strategy mode is your brand, your niche, your offer, your content, your copy. You bring the question, it gives you the next step. The coaching mode, it names what energy is in the way, okay? The fear behind your resistance, the identity block underneath the strategy question, what's actually going on and what actually is gonna move it. So here's everything that is inside the quantum game. 2 months of the live program, access to all the materials and recordings for 6 months. I want you guys to make this shit happen in the first 2 or 3 months. Okay. I want you to make this shit happen. Like some of you guys who were in the chat earlier, you were like, oh, I had my client yesterday. Oh, I signed someone yesterday. That's what I want to happen. That is what I want to happen. That is my intention for you. Okay. Before you even like finish everything, you'll have everything. You're going to go through everything. Before you even finish everything, I want that for you. And I want you to set that intention for yourself that this is a container that is allowing you to just step onto that next timeline already. Just do it. Okay. 2 months of the live program, the weekly masterminds, 8 weekly Q&A calls with a quantum mentor, 5 Q&A calls with me personally, and a practical assignment under every single lesson. So you can't just like listen to it passively and bypass. Okay. Okay. You can't do that. All right. And then the private student community and a certificate upon completion. So which one of those layers, by the way, is the one that has been missing for you? Like which one of those pieces, like there's a lot of pieces, has been kind of missing for you? Is it the frequency work? Is it the structure? What part of the structure? Or is it both? I want to see it in the chat, guys. I want to see it in the chat. Where's the chat? Why can't I see the chat anymore? What's going on? Okay. What is it for you? The identity, the structure. Okay, cool. Both. Okay, cool. Okay. Structure. Yeah, because I will tell you guys, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like, did I have to learn the structure? Yeah. The hard way? Yes. Hard. Okay. And that's why I wanted this component of it, is because I'm like, well, I don't want to just like leave people with all of the amazing identity and the frequency and all of that, and then they don't have somewhere to like just execute like right there. Like, I don't want you to think too long about this. Okay. I don't want you to think too long. It's like you can experience a shift, an energetic and identity shift, and then I want you to just execute it. Okay. I don't want you to give yourself any way out. No way out, guys. No way out. Can you imagine if I didn't start when I started? I wouldn't have even started, right? If I didn't start when I started, I wouldn't have even started. Okay. So I know that there might be something in the way, and that's not a criticism or anything like that. It's what always happens at this moment. Okay. So no matter how much your body said yes today, there's something still that's going like, I don't know. So let's just go through them. Okay. I already tried something like this, maybe, but maybe you tried it from an old frequency, or maybe you only did the energy work and you didn't actually put into practical reality because something else was like holding you back. You're like, oh, well, I don't really know now. Well, now I need to figure it out and I don't want to go and figure it out because it's like so difficult, whatever that is, because that was probably me a little bit. Okay. So most programs work at the level of mindset, the affirmations, the journaling, the reframing, the positive thinking, and all that is cool, right? All that is great. Like, you can feel something for a day and that's great. Okay. But if the block lives in the body and in the field, not in your thoughts, your mindset doesn't reach it. Like we talked about, right? There are those different layers. Spiritual programs gave you the shift, but not the structure. Okay. So the energy moved and the money didn't necessarily follow. The business programs gave you the strategy, but not the identity work. So you executed the plan, or maybe you didn't even execute the full plan. Why? Because the energy and the identity got in the way, right? How many of you guys have been there too, right? You got like distracted because you're like, this is a little too complicated. I'm thinking I'm just going to stop right now. It's too complicated. Okay. And then, so you undermined it. You quit too early to even see the results. I get it. Why can I relate to this? Because I've been there, okay? That's not you failing. That's just what happens when only one world is there, when you're only operating from one world. This is the only place where both are in the same room. So one woman described what happened in this work as deep rerouting. She had done years of programs, real work, real investment, genuine commitment. And this was the first thing that reached this deeper layer that everything else had been kind of trying to shift on top of, right? Another came in after 7 years of therapy. 30 days in, she had more movement than in all 7 years combined. This isn't you just trying to do the same therapy stuff or whatever it is, mindset stuff. Okay. I've manifested things before and then I lost them. Okay. So we covered this today. That is a capacity problem, right? That is an energetic capacity problem. That is not a strategy problem. That is not a character flaw. The money came, right? Your frequency pulled it back to a familiar level. So this is module 2, built specifically to expand what you can hold so that when the result arrives, it actually stays. You can actually hold it. You actually have the energetic and the identity capacity to hold it. Okay. So the student who actually named their ceiling, again, she doubled it in her mind and she just committed to it. She made exactly twice their ceiling in the following month because she expanded her capacity. I don't have $3,000. So, I mean, if you think about my story, that was kind of me, right? Like I spent like pretty much all of my savings on this program. And to be quite honest, and I'm saying this very, very honestly, I've actually said this to my husband that if I spent a fraction of that amount of money than I actually did, I wouldn't have made it happen. Because I would have given myself a way out when it got a little tough, when it challenged me a little bit. I wouldn't have made it happen. I'm actually very grateful that it did cost me that level of investment, that where it really hurt, because I was like, I'm fucking making this happen no matter what. Like I'm not giving myself a way out here, right? The people who get the biggest results, they usually don't come in with a whole bunch of money to spare. Okay, unless they have a lot of discipline, they usually come in because they're like, shit, I have to make this happen. I'm ready to have this shift. I'm ready to make this happen. I'm going all in. Like, there was someone who actually, I remember it was like last fall, she signed up for a program and it was like, I forget, I think she actually had to borrow money for the program. And I was like, look, you have to do what's right for you. Only you can decide what's right for you. Okay. You feel into it. She's like, okay, I'm just going to sign up. Right. And I think she like cried or something. I was like, oh my God. And then within the next, I shit you not, it was 2 or 3 weeks, she ended up making $12,000. Right. She's like, something just shifted. Something just happened. And I just made $12,000. I was like, holy fuck, girl. That's amazing. But do you see how powerful you are? Right. Do you see how powerful you are? The question isn't whether $3,000 feels comfortable. I don't want it to feel comfortable. So if it's actually comfortable for you to spend $3,000, I want you to pretend like it's not. I want you to pretend like, fuck, I just blew all of my savings on this. Like that's what I want you to pretend. Okay? Because I want you to make this happen. I'm giving you all the tools. I'm giving you all the resources, and it's up to you to like take it and make it happen. Just make that decision, right? For yourself. Talked about Natalie, love her, had $200 to her name, right? She jumped into a program and she made $27,000 in 3 weeks. And she was like, I had no idea that was going to happen. Okay. Do you see how powerful you are when you make the decision that something is going to happen? Right? So here's another side of that equation. What is one more year at the same frequency doing the same things cost you? Because it's not just the dollar amount. Yes, it is the dollar amount, because if you started making, let's say, even $3,000 a month, $5,000, $10,000 a month sooner, then in a year you would have made like a lot of money, let's say, and you kept growing than if you started in a year and then you started to make that money. So you would have lost out on the momentum, lost out on the opportunity, lost out on the time. To me, the more important thing is the time. Like sometimes I do get frustrated with myself because I'm like, I wish I understood this frequency work. I wish I understood identity sooner. I wish it didn't have to take me 10 years to understand this. I've said that to my husband a lot because I'm like, I wish it didn't have to take me so long to understand it, because I feel like I would be so much more ahead at this point. But look, that is c'est la vie. Like that is life, right? It's better to start when you can start than never at all and then just regret it. So I don't have my own product. I don't know where to start. Perfect. That's exactly what this program is designed to help you with, right? You don't need to have the product figured out before you come in. Module 4 is where we build it, right? From the gift that is already inherent in you. If anyone's ever said, wow, you give really, really good relationship advice. If you got a lot of people coming to you for some reason for like advice or make you feel better about things or whatever, there is a gift there, because that was me. That was me my whole life. And I didn't value it because I'm like, yeah, well, everyone gives good advice. I'm just like being a friend or whatever, right? There was something there. I didn't have the self-worth enough to value it at the time. I wish I did, because then, I wouldn't just be like doling out a whole bunch of advice for free and draining all of my time. But you know what I'm saying? You have a gift. If you know that you have a gift, you do. Okay. You just maybe can't see it yet. Like I couldn't see it because the self-worth is getting in the way, because you're not giving yourself permission to see it. I can't tell you how many times I talk to people and I'm like, holy shit, you could so easily be a coach. You could so easily be a coach. There's so many people who need your perspective, who need your energy, who need your unique essence and frequency. Okay. So anyway, this is where we build it. Module 4. I need to think about it. Of course you can think about it, right? But here's what I do want you to know, that thinking about it after today, it does mean thinking at a different price point. Okay. The window closes at the end of today. And from here, the price only moves in one direction toward that $9,990. So and maybe you're like, okay, great, I'm going to pay that much like when it gets there, because you're going to see the proof, you're going to see other people having the results and all of that stuff. But if I were you, I wouldn't wait. But that is me. Okay. So I need to talk to someone first. I would just ask, who is that person? Are they doing all the things that you want to do with your life? Are they open to all the opportunities that you're open to right now? I will tell you, my husband was not. Okay. I talk about this sometimes where I'm the spiritual, I'm all like into the manifestation. He's so the opposite of me. He let me do my thing, right? Now he's like more bought in because I've actually shown him the results. I'm like, look, see, it paid off. And he's like, oh shit. Okay. Right. But at the time, if I would have listened to him, I would have done nothing. Literally, I would have done nothing. Or, we were even talking about actually at the time, what if I got, a part-time job, working at one of the local stores or whatever. Right. And so we were actually talking about that. So then that's what I probably would have done if I listened to him, or if I listened to the people around me. Okay. So this isn't for me. I'm not at that level yet. Everyone has a level, right? The mechanism is still the same. Okay. The program does not require you to be somewhere. It's what changes the level that you're actually on. That is the whole point of the identity and the frequency work, is to actually change the level that you're operating from, right? I was making $2,000 a month. I was at that level for 10 plus years. Totally people pleaser, didn't believe in myself, terrified of being seen, terrified of showing up, really terrified of pretty much everything, okay? But because I understood this process, I committed to the process. And so what happened? My identity shifted. And then, oh, okay, all of a sudden I'm a business owner. Okay, and now I'm able to actually generate money. Okay, cool. Right? Veronica spent years doing everything right with nothing moving. And then she had her first 10K week, 10K week. Victoria, she didn't actually come in as a COO. She actually became a CEO, but she came in like fairly high up, okay, in corporate. And then through this work, as she released a lot of her guilt, her little like people pleasing, all that stuff, she then became a COO and also manifested 7 figures. That was pretty crazy. So the question isn't whether you're at the right level to begin. It's whether you're ready to stop building or trying to build from the level that you are currently at. Okay. All of the principles, by the way, that I teach you, no matter what level you're at, whether you're at $2,000 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever, they still apply to me. They still apply to me as a 7-figure business owner. They still apply to me. I still use the same principles. Because when you actually understand how the process works, the process is the same. It just goes. It just like spirals at higher and higher levels upward, but it is the same mechanics. Does that make sense? Okay. So what if it doesn't work for me? Don't take my word. Open one clearing inside of the program. Notice what happens in your body. Notice what happens in your field. Notice what awareness comes up. Okay. You're not just betting on the description of the experience. You can actually feel it for yourself. So for those who want the research, there has been research that has shown how your internal state actually affects your performance, your perception, right? People have talked about the reticular activating system. It will filter for what your frequency or identity is attuned to. So you could literally have $1 million opportunity sitting right in front of your face. But if your frequency and your identity is not attuned to it, your RAS will literally be like, nope, it's not even there. It doesn't even exist. It's invisible. When your frequency and your identity are attuned to it, all of a sudden, right, you can actually see it. And obviously, if you can't see something, it's a little bit harder to go after it. But then when you open up your frequency and identity, you start to see these things, it's much easier because you can actually perceive that it's in front of you, right? You're not just taking someone's word that it's in front of you. You actually can perceive it, even if you don't know exactly how it's going to happen, right? So the enrollment window closes. $3,000 is for the first launch price. It is the floor. It is the lowest that this will ever be. So from here, it's going to climb in stages, launch after launch. Okay. I'm just letting you guys know that because I know I'm going to get some messages, or my team is, where it's like, hey, what about that price? And it's like, at least I'm like, there's a recording where I said it about a dozen times. Okay. So what is 1 year at the same frequency costing you? Okay. Again, not just the number, although there is a number to that. It is the time number, right? How many months, how many seasons, how many versions of yourself is it costing you? I will tell you, if I did not start when I started, I wouldn't have started. I don't know if I would have ever started. Okay. It's just something to really consider. So I want to show you something. Okay. These are real ass people. They're from all over the world, different lives, different starting points, different numbers. Okay. It's all the same work. Money arrived differently. Okay. So Jane Sun didn't change her strategy. She changed her frequency and her identity. I was working with her, and money started showing up, like opportunities started showing up in different directions than she had even been really looking for. And also another thing is she just felt activated in herself again, activated in what she was delivering, in what she was offering, right? And she was attracting new clients from that state, and it felt so good. Marion had been kind of circling the same revenue for years. And then after the work, she like priced her offer at a different number that she really wanted to. It was scary for her, but she did it. She had a client who was like pushing back, and she was like, no, I'm holding firm at this identity, at this frequency, at this price point. Okay. And then the person bought her package at the new price point. Priya came in without a clear picture of where the money is going to come from. She left with the first income she could actually point to and say, I built this from who I am, right? Not from what I was trying to be. And she asked for a bigger role in a conversation she almost didn't have. And 2 hours later, this is someone else, she had a 20% raise, okay? And a title that she didn't even ask for. Daria went from feeling kind of like invisible to then booking a national commercial, right? This other person, she's 36. She went to a model call and she's like, well, I'm 36 and I've never done modeling, right? She actually got the contract on the spot, okay? So what you think is not possible for you is only because there is something in you at a deep frequency level that is, for some reason, shutting off you from being able to see the opportunity and possibilities that are there for you. Okay. So another person, she made peace with being single. She was like, okay, I'm gonna be okay. Then she shifted the frequency, right? That she was holding around love. And then she met her soulmate. Another person said her life changed in just 1 week, because when the frequency moves, things move fast. 7 years of therapy, real work, right? Within just days, 30 days, more shifts happened in her than in 7 years of therapy. She had been working at this for years, okay? So I don't take those words lightly when I hear that this work saved me. This work saved my life. This completely transformed and changed my life. I don't take those words lightly. At the same time, I also know, because I experienced it myself, how different this process is when you truly commit to it, like through and through and through, right? So if there's something in you that has been kind of saying yes through all this, it's not an accident. The link is going to be in the chat, so you can jump in, reserve your spot. Don't give yourself a way out, guys. If you and when you jump in, don't give yourselves a way out. I just want you to go, okay, I'm 100% in. I'm 100% committed to this process. I am not going to give myself a way out here. Okay, I'm not going to give myself excuses. I'm not going to treat it like a gym membership where I'm like, okay, I signed up for the gym. I feel good that I signed up for the gym. No, I want this to be the point when you're like, everything is going to change. Okay? So I want to put something in perspective as well. If you were to build this for yourself, here's what you'd be looking at, okay? An identity and energy coach, a launch strategist, a personal brand consultant, a business mentor, an AI tool trained on this whole entire method, a community of people doing this alongside of you at the same speed, and the time and energy and money that it would take to put all of that together, okay? That is not $3,000. That is nowhere near $3,000. And then, of course, there's the cost of another year at the same frequency. To me, that's the biggest cost of everything. I always look at things like that. Like, the more money that you guys are going to make, you're going to look at things differently. You're going to look at investments differently. Like, I will invest in something that other people would think is outrageous. Like, I will be willing to invest a lot of money into something if I know it is going to speed up the process of learning for me, or the process of me just doing the damn thing and just like being in the process of it. To be honest, I will invest an inordinate amount of money in order to do that, because I understand that the more time I wait on the thing, the harder it's going to be, the more inertia I now have, the more competition is coming. Like, everything just is going to get infinitely harder. Plus, obviously, the time component, right? I'd rather know right now and like do it right now if I can, than wait and be like, oh, okay, maybe I'll do it, and then not actually do it, or learn the really, really, really hard way. Okay. So again, the Quantum Game, $3,000, one enrollment, everything that you need to become the person and build the business at the same time in a way that actually feels good for you. So here's what that includes. 8 modules with me and Layla: the quantum identity, the wealth frequency, the magnetic personal brand, your quantum offer, quantum sales and launch, $1 million funnels, one-of-a-kind product system, the quantum CEO. We are starting July 8th, 1 module per week, access to all recordings and materials for 6 months. Okay. That is plenty time. I don't even want to give you guys more time. To be honest, I'm like, if I can just give you guys 3 months, I would give you guys just 3 months, because that is where the movement is actually going to happen. It's going to happen in the first couple of months. Okay. It is going to happen in the first couple of months. I don't want this to be a 6-month process, but I want you to have the tools and the resources so you can adapt it and everything like that for 6 months. I don't want you to think of this like a 6-month process. You can go out and within a week, guys, you can sign your first fucking client. That's my intention for you. I don't want you to be like, okay, let's just wait. No. Okay. That's not what I did. I took matters into my own hands. I put the thing out. I didn't fucking know. And then it led to this entire momentum and this entire journey. Okay, that's what I want for you in this process. You're also going to be getting the Quantum Resource Library, every template to make it easy for you, every framework, every step-by-step plan from both sides of the program, my energy work, Layla's business systems, weekly masterminds, okay, live group sessions, where the work continues between the modules, mentor support inside the community, 8 weekly Q&A calls with your quantum mentor, okay? So that you stay accountable, you stay connected, and you stay accountable, right? I will tell you, my communities are amazing. 5 Q&A calls with me. So these are going to be fun. You can ask me any questions, and I'll tell you exactly what I see or how I see it. Okay. We're also going to do some clearings together and stuff, and cover whatever is coming up that I feel is really relevant to the group in terms of the mechanics of energy and different things like that. And the quantum product breakdown and personal brand breakdown with Layla, your offer broken down and built back up, your brand positioning. Okay, built with someone, again, who has helped create $100 million in results. Personal feedback on your work, a practical assignment under every lesson. So you can't just like consume the lesson and then just peace out. No, you actually have to do something with it. Okay. Again, accountability, which is so important, because we can say, yeah, I'm going to post content and whatever, but like you can then just kind of like not really care, not really put anything into it. And then it doesn't go anywhere and you get discouraged and then you stop and then you never do the thing that you were meant to do in the first place. How many of you guys can relate to that maybe, right? And then you lose steam. You're like, maybe I'll just think about that later. Okay. You don't actually do it with real intention. You don't actually do it with a real vision to create something that is actually going to pay off, right? The private student community, a certificate upon completion, and then the Quantum Paget AI, and your personal 24/7 mentor for business, visibility, and identity. Okay. Now, what comes with enrolling today? There are 5 bonuses that exist specifically because this is the first launch, and they're going to come off the table when enrollment closes. Okay. So the quantum content codes, the luxury feminine wealth, how to build money without burning out the masculine way, the quantum sales scripts, messaging for your content, your DMs, your launches, your offers, ready to use warm-up content templates, manifestation versus strategy. So $3,000 again is the price of the first launch. It is the floor. It is the lowest that this program is ever going to be. And these 5 bonuses are not going to come back after today. Okay. And it's not a tactic, but this is just the reality of how launches work, which you're going to understand because you're going to learn it from Layla, right? The people who show up first, they always get the best conditions because they are the ones who said yes. before there was a mountain of evidence, okay? So you step into the new era now at the entry point that you will never be able to access at this low again. I don't want to see those messages being like, what about that other price? Okay. I don't want to see it. All right. Or my team doesn't want to see it. Okay. So entering is very simple. There's 2 ways to pay. Card. If you're really freaking advanced, I'm not at this level. I'm gonna be honest. But if some of you guys are, also crypto. Okay. So whichever is easier. And you don't have to pay it all at once, guys. Okay. You can split it with us directly, 2 payments or 3 payments, the same full access, the same start date, the same bonuses spread into parts that actually fit you. Okay. Or you can also use Klarna or split it. Just ask the team. So is this another course I'll start? This is literally what I don't want to happen. I've done this many times. This is literally what I don't want to happen. Okay. That is why we have something actionable at the end of every single module and lesson, like something that you actually have to do. Okay. That's also why there's 5 calls where you get to bring your real business to me, get personal feedback, right? And a community that actually holds you responsible the entire way. Also the calls with the mentor as well. And then Quantum Paget AI is there at 3 a.m. When the question comes up, right? Between the different calls and you're like, I don't know how to deal with this. And you have Paget AI at 3 a.m. I don't have time to be live, right? You do not need to be live, but I highly recommend you listen and watch the lives for sure. You're also going to get access for 6 months. Okay. Again, Natalie, $200 her name, $27,000 in 3 weeks. So here is what to do right now. If you're feeling that this is that moment, the link is in the chat. Okay. So jump in, reserve your spot at the price, the bonuses, the everything that is never going to be this low again. Now, before I let you go, I want to bring us somewhere. Okay. So 2 days ago, you came into here. Okay. And maybe you weren't sure, like, what is this about? Maybe you were hoping for something. Okay. That you didn't really know what it was. And I think what you really found was just like a mirror, aware of where you've really been holding yourself back. Like I said, even business coaches will tell you that 90% of it is your energy and your identity. They will tell you 90% of it is your energy. Okay. So the question really is, why are you holding, what is that layer of identity that you are operating within that is creating your current results? Okay. That is making your current decisions. What is that you actually need to let go of? The one who's too scared to do the thing and kind of like waiting until they like feel like it's the right time and that time never ever comes. Like, who is that identity that you need to go, okay, I'm done with you. You ain't getting us anywhere. We're going. Okay. Who is that? You create your reality, guys. Every single detail of it. And if that brings up triggers and all that stuff, you're like, no, but it's not fair because of this and this and this. I'm not saying that life is fair. Okay. I haven't had the advantages that a lot of other people have and vice versa. What I'm saying is we are all given a certain set of rules to this reality, a certain set of rules to this game of energy and reality, right? And they apply equally to all of us. That is what I am saying. Okay. And it is up to us, not some like idea of the universe. It is up to us to decide that we have the power to change it. And that if we just stay in the victim mode of, well, because of this and that, that's never going to work. Can you imagine if I had done that after only making $2,000 a month for 10 plus years? And I'm like, yeah, well, I have all this proof that it's not, so whatever. I think I'm just going to hate the universe forever now. Because I was very close to that. But then I wouldn't be where I am today. Okay. I want you to understand it really does start with a decision, an internal decision first. Sometimes an external decision that forces your internal decision. Okay. But it does start with a decision, some decision in you where you go, okay, all right, I am going on this journey. I am claiming the title of being the creator of my reality because I understand that is actually how it works. Okay. So there are two paths from here. Path one, you can leave this room, right? You can return to the same life. You can wait for the right timing. You can wait until more proof, whatever it is. And then maybe something shifts on its own eventually. And that's, maybe in a year, you're like, okay, now I'm ready to do it. And that's fine. Okay. Maybe having tried a few more things from the same level, and that's okay. But that's it. Now, path two, you can just decide to change the level right now. Not tomorrow, not when it feels safer or more certain. Right now from inside this room before the old frequency has a chance to pull you back into the familiar. And then you're back watching Netflix, being like, okay, whatever. I mean, this is comfortable. Because look, we all like to do that. And I'm not saying you're not going to be able to do that. But it feels a heck of a lot better doing that when you realize that you have already made the hard decisions for yourself. And you've already committed to a path. Right? So again, Natalie made that decision, $200 to her name. Valentina made that decision, ended up making her first $50,000 launch. Okay. A quantum CEO is CEO of the reality first. The business is second. They don't manage their way to results. They don't wait until the external evidence says that they are ready to do it. Then they would never do it. They decide that they become it first, and then reality catches up to them because that's how it actually works. Become that person first, become that person first, and reality catches up to you. This is how you bend reality. I talk about bending reality. It's not about, you think, oh, I'm bending reality because I'm like manipulating reality. No, if you've even watched The Matrix, they even give this piece of wisdom where like there's that like little kid with a spoon and like he bends the spoon and then Neo's like, how did you do that or something? I don't remember exactly. And the kid says something to the effect of, you don't bend the spoon, like you bend yourself. Okay. That is how reality works. You don't bend the matrix of reality from the outside. You shift yourself and the matrix of reality shifts. That is true bending of reality. You bend what is the most powerful point you have access to in the matrix of reality, which is yourself. Does that make sense? Okay. You don't wait for external permission to operate from your full power. You don't build a business and then become the person who can hold it. You become that person first. Actually, you do it simultaneously? You do it simultaneously. Like that's the quick way to do it. Okay. But the identity always does come first. Like you have to understand rather the game of identity and energy first, so that then when you build your business, you're doing it at the same time. Okay. So I want to end where I ended yesterday because today, you know what this means from somewhere other than just your head. Okay. This is both great news and maybe disappointing news, but no one is going to come to save you. No one is going to come to save you. Even if you're married, even if you're the most beautiful partner in the world, or you have the most amazing parents, no one is coming to save you. Yes, they can give you support. But you are the only person who can save yourself because the universe only reflects your own relationship with yourself. So if you're not willing to save yourself, the universe cannot really save you. Okay? This is like an energetic relationship that you have with yourself, with reality. The world meets you where you're ready to meet yourself. The world so far, I want to leave you with this, okay, has been meeting you at the level that you have been showing up. So when you look at your current reality, at what level have you actually been showing up? Because it's only going to meet you at that level. Does that make sense, right? And I hope that's landing for you. Because like once you understand that and you release the victimhood, you release the projection, you release, oh my God, it's their fault, whatever it is, that's really where everything starts to change. Okay. So again, the waitlist pricing access is until June 26th. After that, the price goes up automatically. So by the way, these are my team's official numbers. You can text them. You can pick up when they call, text them any questions or whatever it is, payment plans, all that good stuff. They are happy to talk to you, chat with you, let you know what's inside, remind you of what's inside, whatever it is that you might need. So the link is in the chat. And if something in you has been saying yes again, but you've been waiting for a reason to wait just a little longer, this is me telling you, you don't really need more time. You need to make a decision the way that your quantum CEO self would. The way I made that decision before I made 40K in 6 weeks, and it was a scary decision. I'm not going to lie. It did freak me out, but that's exactly why it was powerful, because it didn't leave me a choice. It didn't give me a margin to go back. So this is more than a decision of you just I don't want you to see it as a decision of you just like doing a program that's going to be amazing and life-changing. I want you to see it as you making a decision of who you are choosing to be. Okay? Of the timeline split, the portal that you are jumping into, and the timeline split that you are accessing when you make the decision. And when you go, like the minute you sign up, I literally want you to go, what can I do right? Even before I even have access, what can I do right now to make sure that the minute it opens within the first week, I'm going to make that money back. I'm going to create that momentum for myself. That's the energy. That's the energy. That is the energy that is going to collapse timelines, guys. Okay? That is the energy. That is how you step into your quantum CEO era. Okay? It doesn't happen like, oh, I'm kind of gradually getting there. Okay. It's not how it happens. I couldn't have done that. I couldn't have done what I did if I was like, okay, maybe like if I just kind of take it easy and I just sort of like kind of do it. If I kind of do it, it'll happen, right? If I kind of do it, if I kind of commit, it'll happen, right? That's not how it works. I was like, I'm fucking full in. Like, look, this is scary, whatever. This is unusual. I don't know, but I know that I did game of energy. I know that I game of identity. So that is holding me, and I'm just going to jump all the way in. I'm going to give myself no other choice. I'm not going to hedge, because I know when I hedge, nothing ever works out for me. I'm going to go full in. And that literally set off a completely different timeline. Okay. So, are there any questions? Let me see. Are there any questions? Let me, hold on. Let me ask. Let me see. Okay. Yes. Okay. Hi, Sophia. Okay. Feeling something in my chest, and probably nerves because you're like, ooh, like I'm gonna do this. Yes. Okay. Guys, look, I'm telling you. So I'll just describe like what it felt for me. Okay. So I told you the story where I put 80% of my savings into a program. I asked my husband, I was like, should I do this? He was like, no. He was like, no, Paget, you haven't really been coaching for very long. I don't think you're qualified to do this. And I'm like, no, but I feel like I can. And he was like, maybe just wait like a few months. And I was like, okay, I'll wait a few months. And then like that night, I just couldn't stop thinking about it, right? Because at that point, something else took over me. And I was just like, and I didn't give myself time to really, I was just like, if I think too much about this, I'm going to talk myself out of it. Okay. So I'm going to stop thinking about it, obsessing over it like I was doing. And I'm just going to jump in. And when I did, I was terrified. immediately, I'm going to be honest. I was like, maybe I need to get a refund because I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I have it in me to do this. And then it was like an out of body experience. I kind of remember when I like opened the program and then I started watching and I started like seeing like all the stuff. And then I was like, okay, you're going to do this thing. You're going to do this thing. Right. And that was like, one thing that I have to say is that when you make a quantum shift, the decisions you make to make a quantum shift, they never feel natural. Think about it. If they felt natural, they would have been generating and recycling your old reality. Correct? Because it's generated from your old reality. When you think about the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, the way in which they shift into different realms, it's actually very accurate. I was actually very impressed by that movie, by the way. Is they did something so wild that themselves in that current reality would never be able to do. Okay? So they bit an eraser. They did some really weird, awkward things, right? And then they would shift into a different dimensional realm. They were basically doing things that did not feel natural, that were not natural for them to do. It's not even necessarily about, it's like, right? Because if you are doing things that just feel natural to you, it's already in this timeline because it feels natural. But if you're changing the algorithm of your reality at a higher level of consciousness, guess what? Those things would not feel natural to you down here. They just simply could not. Okay. So it did almost feel like I was having almost a little bit of an out of body experience. And then I was like, okay, where I'm just doing this fucking thing. I'm trusting, I'm going, I'm doing, right? And I'm just like, I'm just moving. I'm just going to move through this thing. Also a little bit of healthy competition, I think is a good thing, by the way. Okay. So I kind of want some of you guys to be a little bit competitive. I'm not going to lie and be like, I want to be the first person to make my first big sale. I want to be the first person to make I don't know how, I'm going to just make it happen. I'm going to make that shit happen. And I'm going to come into the community. I'm going to be like, fucking did it, guys. Right. Cause that's going to be so inspiring to everyone else as well. And I'm not going to lie. There was a little part of me in that too, where I was like also a little competitive as well. Cause I'm like, wait a second. I didn't know that I had an advantage over other people because I knew the energy and the identity piece that a lot of people don't really understand. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to use that to my advantage. I'm going to use that to my advantage while I'm in this program and I'm going to fucking just go for it. And you know, it's funny. One of my clients, I don't know if she's here or not, but one of my clients, I was talking to her and so she joined one of my first programs that was not, I didn't give any support about programs or anything like that. And, but she was just about the identity and the energy. And then she joined as well. She actually paid again for a business program on top of it. And she was, it was the same thing for her. She was like, oh, I get this. So I'm going to use the energy and identity to basically be at the top of my group in this other business course. And she did. She was the top of her group in that other business course. And she made like double what she was making in her corporate job within, I think I want to say the first 2 or 3 months, right? Healthy competition, guys. It's not bad. Okay. You're just inspiring each other. Okay. Inspiring each other to go to greater and greater and greater and greater and greater and greater heights. That's why I actually think, like, if you have a little bit of envy, like you see someone online, you have a little bit of that envy and you're like, oh, a little bit of envy. It's not a bad thing when you are able to go, wait a second, if she's able to do it, why can't I? If she's able to do it, why can't I? Okay. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's actually a really good thing. Okay. That's my hot take. All right. So when I see you in the quantum entrepreneur, guys, I want you to remember this. We're going to be getting a little bit more into this in the welcome call too, which I think is going to be in literally like a week. So this is going to be a welcome call only for you guys in the early bird. And I am so excited to see you guys there. Again, the price is going to be going up. I can't think of a product that's going to be better than this, to be quite honest. So I can't wait to see you guys there. I'm so excited. Okay. And, I I think I need to go. I think my team's like, got Paget, end it. Okay. So I'll see you guys there. I'm so excited. I'll see you guys in a week. And see you later.